You won't believe.
This hospital closed. The CEO's a $40 million yacht. Why didn't the hospital just sell the yacht?
What we just found. We've been tracking this $40 million yacht for months now, and we're pretty sure we just found it in Fort Lauderdale.
Does this guy sound like, is it Steve-O? That's his name, right?
No.
From, what do you mean no?
He does not sound like Steve-O.
He sounds like a younger Steve-O.
You might be retardo.
You're wrong.
Right near Mar-a-Lago. But we weren't totally sure, so we hired a camera operator and sent him down there to check it out. And he got these shots, and yeah, this yacht is about 180 feet long, multiple decks, a full-time crew, a gym, a library. The story behind how the guy got enough money to buy it is incredible. He went out and raised tons.
Okay, hold on. A full-time crew for a mega yacht? Isn't that just like getting paid to live in someplace for free? I'll do that job. Damn. I want to be a full-time crew on a fucking $40 million mega yacht thing. What the fuck?
You gotta clean,
Money
you
from
gotta
private-
cook.
Yeah, it's called having a normal house.
Yeah, it's true.
equity, and he bought hospitals.
Like this one. Well, except when he bought it, it was still open.
It's closed now, it's bankrupt, and it's just sitting here. And the company that bought this place bought dozens of hospitals across the United States. And then things got ugly. Some were sold, some barely survived, and at least 2 were closed outright. This has had real-world consequences. Equipment was unavailable or repossessed, surgeries were canceled, and staff shortages became routine. Ambulances now had to travel 45 minutes, and community members...
What channel is this, Destiny? This seems like slopulous shit. Why would you just automatically assume it's slopulous shit when the guy's talking about a mega yacht that a guy has and then hospitals closing? Like, you don't think those two things are directly fucking linked? You don't think they are? You think that these mega yachts are free?
Say at least one patient died after a transfer that they believe never would have happened. The weird thing is, even though the hospital chain collapsed, a lot of people at the top still walked away with enormous amounts of money. You're supposed to get a big payout like that when you succeed, not when you fail. So what happened here? To find out, I did what we always do on Business Explains the World. I got out there. I talked to the journalists who helped bring down Enron.
Scandals I've covered have been bloodless. This is something worse.
I came to the hospitals that closed and met people who used to work there.
It was unsustainable. I was like, we're never gonna survive.
How in the world is this legal? Where did all the money go? What does a real estate company have to do with this? And why are hospitals businesses anyway? Hospitals weren't always businesses, and in a lot of the world, they still aren't. Care is publicly funded. It's treated as a public service. Even in the United States, they weren't always businesses either. For most of American history, they were run by charities, and care was free. They treated the sick, cared for the poor, and looked after people no one else would. Because back then...
Wait. Did you see that?
No, I'm building Legos. Go back.
Was that intentional or?
What was it? I missed it.
This is either. For most of American history, they were run by charities, and care was free.
This is Hospital Tuskegee, which was the place with the big meme thing where the
trial or whatever.
Yeah, I think some doctor he lied about treating some black patients with syphilis and then just saw how the disease progressed until they, I guess, like died or became crazy or something, but not good.
Treated the sick, cared for the poor, and looked after people no one else would. Because back then, if you had money, you just called the doctor to your home. That only changed in the early 1900s. New tools,
free, though.
Anesthesia, sterilization, x-rays, made hospitals safer and more attractive. And hospitals started charging patients just enough to keep the doors open. But as medicine improved, it became more expensive. Health insurance emerged to spread the cost, so one bad hospital stay wouldn't wipe you out. But the real shift came in the 1960s.
President and Vice President Humphrey arrive for ceremonies that will make the Medicare bill a part of Social Security coverage.
By then, the system was breaking. Most elderly Americans had no insurance, and the poor didn't either. Medicaid and Medicare were created to fix that, to ensure people that the private market would not, and keep hospitals from collapsing under unpaid care. It infused billions of dollars into healthcare. And someone saw that.
Destiny, they had a structured experiment to study neurosyphilis. It wasn't a bad study, it was just a racist study. LOL. My understanding is that in that study, they were they were intentionally misdiagnosing some black men and saying they didn't have syphilis and then not providing care for them to see how the disease progressed. No, that was my understanding.
As an opportunity to explain, let's go to a KFC.
Hell yeah, brother.
Hell yeah.
This bucket exists because of a guy named Jack Massey. Massey was not a chef. He was not a restaurateur. He was a businessman and a financier. In the 1960s, Jack Massey bought KFC from Colonel Harlan Sanders. And what Massey brought to KFC was not a new recipe. This is what KFC looked like before Massey was involved. And then after, every single one of them looked exactly the same. He brought business discipline. Massey was obsessed with growth and efficiency. So he turned every...
Yeah, doing that is kind of necessarily entailed in studying neurosyphilis. Yeah, so it's not really ethical to do medical experimentation on human beings where you lie to them about the diseases they have and pretend that you're treating something different. I don't know. I'm pretty sure by the time the 60s roll around, we had those ethics in most of medicine, maybe not in psychology, but definitely or psychiatry, but definitely in broader medicine, but...
KFC from California to Texas into the same place. Same recipes, same equipment, same processes. And then he sold the whole thing for hundreds of millions of dollars. So after spreading his greasy masterpiece across the United States, Massey turned to the next most obvious business for a guy like him to run. Hospitals. In 1968, Massey helped found a company called the Hospital Corporation of America. He teamed up with two doctors who were hospital administrators at the time, and they had an insight together that was simple. What if hospitals worked more like KFC franchises? Standardized operations, centralized management, aggressive expansion.
Actually, I'm not sure. When did I just said that like it was obvious because I'm borrowing from Jordan Peterson's tool chest there. I don't know when our actual medical ethics stuff started, though. I have no idea.
Franchises. Standardized operations, centralized management, aggressive expansion. In its first year, HCA bought 11 hospitals. In 1969, HCA went public. The stock doubled.
What?
The number.
On day one. By 1970, HCA owned 26.
I mean, obviously, more about it wasn't a fake study. It was bad informed consent. But never mind. Okay, I understand what you're saying. When I said it's a bad study, I didn't mean the data. I understand what you're saying. Okay.
11 hospitals. In 1969, HCA went public. The stock doubled on day one. By 1970, HCA owned 26 hospitals and controlled nearly 3,000 hospital beds.
Damn!
By the early 1980s, it was the largest hospital operator in the world, earning hundreds of millions of dollars a year. Investors loved it. Healthcare wasn't just a public service anymore. It wasn't like a post office or a firehouse or a police station or a schoolhouse. It was a business. And just like this place, it was a business built to turn a profit. So how does a hospital operate like a business?
Okay, how could we turn a profit? Well, there are several ways. Now, the positives are providing a better service, providing the same service for cheaper, providing a faster, more streamlined service, or whatever, integrating in other things. Like, there are lots of ways we could do it in a good way. There's ways we could do it in a bad way as well. Some sort of monopolization or monopoly power, I don't know, deception or fraud or whatever.
Scam them.
Sure, yeah. So are we going to list all the ways that making something a business can be both good and bad, or are we just going to hit up all the bad points? Let's see. Here we go!
With that, I brought something that I loved from my childhood. This book. I love these books when I was a kid. You flip through and you see how everything worked by seeing cross-sections of all kinds of things, like this big galleon. So let's do a cross-section of a hospital and see how it works. Most people think of hospitals as scary, depressing places. But in a lot of ways, they're complete miracles. Over here, this part of the hospital, this is where anyone in the area can walk in. And a team of unbelievably trained professionals rushes to their aid. That's the emergency room. And over here, we've got the operating rooms, the surgery suites.
AKA the pit.
And over here, cardiology. If someone's heart literally stops working, the people in this room bring it back to life. All of this matters. All of this is incredible. But when you look at a hospital like this, it all just looks like rooms. So now, let me color the rooms red and green. Green for profitable, red for money losing. Look at that. The emergency room, constantly losing money. The place where people are born, deep in the red. Psychiatric units, total money losers. But the spine surgeries, the orthopedic procedures, the cardiology wing, those make a ton of money. But if you're the kind of person who made a lot of money introducing the world to KFC, it's pretty obvious the changes you would make to make hospitals more profitable. Community programs, gone. Maternity wards, gone. Psychiatric units, gone. Even pediatrics, gone. The emergency room? Well, you'd love to get rid of that. But federal law says you can't if you accept Medicare. And speaking of Medicaid and Medicare, these programs usually pay less than the care costs. So the other smart move, if you're a profit-maximizing hospital owner, is to make sure that your hospital is in a community where most of the patients are paying with private insurance. By 2006, the company that Jack Massey created...
Why even have an emergency room? If you get rid of the emergency room, you don't have to worry about Medicare and Medicaid at all.
There's got to be some kind of, like, regulation or something There's got to be something.
Okay.
There's got to be something. There's got to be. That would just be crazy, right?
What do you want to say?
HCA was a very big public company. But then some of the world's most successful private equity investors raised $21 billion in debt and bought the company for $33 billion.
Damn.
They kept it private until 2011, and then they took it public again. Those investors made over a 200% return in 5 years. And today, HCA is worth over $100 billion. But here's the thing about HCA. They're run the way that Jack Massey would run a KFC. Lean, efficient, shared processes, obsessed with costs.
What?
Is that an inspiring story? I don't know. There's obviously widespread dissatisfaction in the United States with its healthcare system. People live in fear of going bankrupt because they got sick. They delay care. They dread the bill almost as much as they dread the diagnosis. So it would be the easiest thing in the world for me to say, can you believe the same guy who got rich off greasy fried chicken got even richer by turning hospitals into soulless franchises? But I think we have to stop for a second and be fair. Because in the early days, the changes that Massey brought to hospitals brought around real innovations, and it changed the way hospitals are run to this day.
Wow.
Before HCA, hospital billing was often paper-based and chaotic. Hospitals didn't even know what they were owed. Massive undercollection meant fewer resources for doctors, nurses, and patient care. HCA invested early in computers, standardized billing, and revenue cycle management, at a time when most hospitals barely used software at all. This meant hospitals actually got paid for the care they were already providing. Massey both helped scale hospitals and helped modernize them. And today, HCA is under completely different management after changing hands multiple times. And it is a
Why do people just dismiss the value proposition of businesses and just zero in on the profit-making aspect of it? Do they think the state could be doing this instead? Yeah, of course. They want to, when they say decommodify, this is what they mean, that the government would automatically do a better job for all of it. I mean, obviously, there are reasons why you may or may not want to have profit incentives attached to certain things, but in the sloppulist era that we live in, it's just kind of automatically assumed that profit incentive equals bad, always.
Very successful business. Independent groups routinely rank HCA hospitals as at least average to above average. It doesn't mean that people love their hospitals. It doesn't mean that the situation is perfect, but it does mean that the picture is more complicated than we sometimes like to portray. One thing is very clear. Massey and HCA's current management proved that hospitals can be a very, very good business. They also prove that if you own hospitals and you run them well, you can get really rich. And maybe that's fair. That's how the system's supposed to work. If you succeed, you make money. So by that logic, if you were to raise hundreds of millions of dollars to buy hospitals in poorer communities and then run them so badly that several of them go bankrupt and a few go abandoned, I mean, there's no way that you'd be able to have enough money to go out and buy a $40 million yacht.
What?
Right? Right?
You know,
Zoom in on the yacht. Oh, shit.
I think healthcare should be commodified because healthcares are inelastic good, but only certain sectors, I suppose. Yeah, so the elasticity of a particular good or service is really going to depend based on how much you zero in on a particular thing. Like the elasticity of healthcare, broadly speaking, is actually quite high. You can see this all the time because people will put off getting preventative care or screening. People will put off, unfortunately, sometimes even stuff that's like pretty essential to your life. Like you see people with like teeth that are rotted out of their mouth that have put off consuming, some particular thing. So it seems like on the broadest level, I think there's a decently elastic relationship with healthcare, such that if you give people more money or you make services cheaper, people are likely to respond, I think, pretty heavily to those incentives. Like I'm curious what the normal vaccine uptake is, but I'm willing to bet that the COVID vaccine uptake was significantly higher because, one, it was a global pandemic, but also because I think, subsidized all of those early shots. The first several of those shots, I think, were completely free to the purchaser or the customer or whatever.
Wouldn't it just make sense for the government to pay for preventative care like that, like COVID vaccines or flu vaccines, et cetera? Isn't that just bang for buck?
Yeah, so I feel like there are things that, like, if these are money-making things, I think they're the most no-brainer things in the world. So things like, this is why I get so irritated when we fight about, like, funding the IRS. Like, the IRS makes money for the government. This should be fully funded as much as you can. You put $1 in, you get $10 back. Same thing with things like a lot of preventative care or screening can be profitable. I haven't looked into specifically which ones are, but I'm sure there must be some that are. And then also contraception is almost always, like in the studies that I've seen, I know that in California they've run the studies on this, and I think, I don't remember what other state they did, but it was like for every $1 you put in, you get $7 back in terms of overall savings when people have access to free
like every
contraception.
contraceptive should be free. Like you should just be able to go in and get like condoms or like, I don't know, fucking even like Plan B or whatever.
Yeah, it just saves you. It saves you money in the in the long term. Yeah. What's elastic mean? Elastic is just how much does the demand for a particular thing change, or how responsive is it to the price? So if you think of something like a candy bar, if the price goes up a lot, people just don't buy candy bars. That's a very elastic good because the demand for it is responding to a change in price. But if you look at something like insulin, the elasticity for that is quite low because even if it gets really high, you need it to survive. So it's much less responsive to a change in price, the demand is.
Dollar he got, right? Right?
I'm not satisfied with simple explanations, and I bet you aren't either. We've mentioned a few different companies in this episode. If a company is publicly traded, we can go deeper on their finances using tastytrade. Or we can broaden our understanding.
What was the beginning of this? Hold
I
on.
mean, there's no way that you'd be able to have enough money to go out and buy a $40 million yacht.
Oh.
Right? Right?
I'm not satisfied with simple explanations.
I understand that we don't, nobody knows anything, whatever, but, a CEO is just an employee. So, if somebody were to say, how much money have you saved up? And it's like, oh, I've saved up, $200,000 in my bank, or I've saved up $300,000, I'm 35 or whatever. But wait, how did you save up all that money? I thought the company that you worked for just went under. You said you worked for them for 15 years, but didn't the company go bankrupt and close? It's like, yeah, why the fuck would I lose my money if the company goes bankrupt? What are you talking about? I was a worker there. The CEO is it's the top line employee. They still answer to the board of directors, who are the owners, the actual owners of the company. Now, CEOs are often compensated heavily in stock, or so I've been told. I don't know what the actual numbers are for every company, but hold on.
Do you give J. Dr. Fernandez stock?
Of course. Yeah, like a CEO making a lot of money, like a company can still fail, but CEOs are still probably going to be some of your highest compensated employees. So it's just but whatever.
And I bet you aren't either. We've mentioned a few different companies in this episode. If a company is publicly traded, we can go deeper on their finances using tastytrade. Or we can broaden our understanding of the market with their AI-powered search. Turn what you learn on Business Explains the World into actionable trading insights. Besides learning more about specific companies or industries, on tastytrade, you can also trade stocks, options, futures, crypto, forex, and more. Visit tastytrade.com/dynamo today.
Cryptocurrency services powered by Zero Hash. tastytrade Incorporated, tastytrade, is a registered broker-dealer and member of FINRA, NFA, and SIPC.
Cool.
tastytrade Inc. and Dynamo are separate and unaffiliated companies.
Thank you, tastytrade, for sponsoring this episode.
Thank you.
This is Neshoba Valley Medical Center. 16,000 ER visits a year, serving 16 Massachusetts towns.
Damn.
And in 2024, it just closed.
If you had to pick one journalist on the entire planet to help explain why this hospital an hour outside of Boston is abandoned, why this community that used to be able to go to an emergency room and
The argument is single payer gives the government the ability to negotiate for the lowest possible prices. I mean, that's one argument, but that's the government. Yeah, I don't want to get into this. The government doesn't really negotiate. The government's just setting a price. And then the question is whether or not it's profitable for companies to do it or not. If the government sets too low of a price, then the company just doesn't make the thing and they just close shop or they only sell internationally, right? The government can't tell you where it's profitable to operate at.
If Boston is abandoned, why this community that used to be able to go to an emergency room in 5 minutes now has to travel 45 minutes? The journalist you'd pick is Bethany McLean.
Bethany McLean.
Bethany McLean.
Bethany McLean.
Known for breaking the Enron story, the biggest fraud case in history.
My name is Bethany McLean, and I'm a longtime journalist and author. And I first got interested in the Steward healthcare saga when I was working on a book about the pandemic. A bunch of private equity firms bought up hospital chains, including private equity firm known as Cerberus, which came in and bought up this chain of struggling hospitals in Massachusetts. And they did so in conjunction with a well-known heart surgeon named Ralph de la Torre. And the idea was that this combination was going to revitalize, reshape, reinvigorate American healthcare. Ralph de la Torre spoke very passionately about his...
On the topic of healthcare, I worked for Walgreens for over a decade. The changes in profit since 2021 going from public to private and rapid CEO changes, it has been crazy. Wow.
Ideas for how you brought healthcare more efficiently to less well-off communities.
Healthcare is not really an exercise in public policy. We pretty much fundamentally agree that if we have the money, we'll give the healthcare to everybody who needs it.
And so the whole thing sounded really great on the surface. The inside story revealed that the hospital struggled from the very beginning. When a hospital has a ton of deferred maintenance, hasn't been invested in, things don't get better from there. So what ended up happening is this company called Medical Properties Trust had come along. They had decided that they could buy the land under hospitals and rent the land back to the hospitals. And that had the effect of allowing the owners of the hospitals to get their money out, to extract their money, even if the underlying business failed.
Did you catch that part? Because that part is super important. What Bethany is saying is that they sold the land.
What was so funny about that?
Dan's taking notes right now.
Underneath the hospital to another company called MPT, and they took that money and they paid themselves with it. Sometimes companies do that, and it's called a sale leaseback, and they use it to invest in the business to improve the underlying business. But that's not what happened in this case.
Some of the money was used to pay Cerberus a dividend. Cerberus's investors got over $700 million out of Steward. Another chunk of the money went to Ralph de la Torre, and he seems to have used a big chunk of that money to buy himself a yacht. So most of the business scandals I've covered have been bloodless.
Is this kind of what happened with what's it called? Red Lobster? Where like private equity bought them and then sold the land to like another subsidiary, and then they started like charging Red Lobster a lot of money? Or I don't know if I've been fake news. That's just what I've heard.
I never trust anybody's read on these things unless I've seen it all myself, so I can't say.
Yeah,
but like in this doesn't seem to be a problem with healthcare or the guy owning a yacht or anything else. It feels like the issue here is you have the same owners for multiple companies that are having divergent alignment and interests, and then one company's getting fucked over for the sake of the other one, which seems not good. I have no idea.
Illegal, no?
I have no idea how you would ever quantify any of this.
You should look into how Sears did their shit when Eddie Lampert came in there and bought them. He turns like the worst company in the world into like a profitable real estate move, but for himself.
Really? I don't know what he did.
Well, Sears was cooked, as you know, right? Kind of like a Radio Shack, if you will. And way back in the day, I think this guy named Eddie Lampert went and bought Sears and Kmart. I mean, the reason he bought them, they were super in debt, they were super cooked, and he was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to buy all this shit, but I'm buying it specifically for the value of the real estate. And when he bought the real estate, he was like, fuck everyone else. I'm in first position now. Because I guess you can do that. You can be like the senior. Since you're loaning money, you would be the senior position. And he became like the landlord of all the Sears and Kmart properties and turned it into I guess like a cash grab. That's my memory of how it is. But I think it's probably an interesting story. But I don't know how many. I don't think there's any Sears or Kmart's left. Might be some. Wow, great story. Hey, Fancy Sloth, you got any fuck? No, I'm not. Too early.
Because in healthcare, there is supposed to be another value that's at work. And I don't think anybody visualized people coming in to a hospital system and figuring out ways to make money that would result in the bankruptcy of the hospitals, thereby leaving people without access to healthcare and even resulting in death.
Sometimes with stories like this, with all the business terminology and private equity jargon, it's easy to lose sight of what you're actually talking about. But not when you're standing here looking at this building. This used to be a functioning hospital. It had 50 hospital beds. Dozens of nurses and doctors and techs worked here. Now they're all gone. It's abandoned. But today, I'm here with two people who remember when this was a functioning hospital taking care of people, a community.
I've been a nurse at Neshoba for 17 years before they closed. Always worked in the emergency department, so I saw Tim very frequently.
I've been in EMT since 1983, been on the department over 40 years, been coming here our EMS side my whole career.
And now you're the fire chief, yes?
Now I'm the fire chief, worked my way up through, yeah.
Steward came in and immediately you started hearing corporate this, corporate that, and they've just started to micromanage, and slowly over time, the quality of things started to get less. Kits that we were used to having for, I don't know if you're going to put in a chest tube or something like that, they would switch them out to these cheaper brands. So now you're in an emergent situation and you're opening this new kit where you're like, where's the stuff that we used to have? Like, it doesn't always have the same thing.
Do people think that hospitals should never close? Yeah, when it comes to certain goods or services, people are just, obviously for obvious reasons, like people are very emotionally loaded around them. So the feeling is that they can never close or never turn away people, or they have to accept. It's kind of a brain rot.
The airline thing is super interesting, by the way. The Spirit Airlines closing. I don't know if you've looked into it at all, but that's like a very interesting situation because there's a fuck ton of airports that are like just served by Spirit, and now
fuck ton that are solo Spirit Airlines.
Yeah, like if you want to go to like a bunch of places, because the U.S. government would end up giving like specific. I don't want to say like grants, but like Spirit might do runs like from Hartford to Boise or something along those lines, just because even if there wasn't enough people on it, because there'd be incentives to go and do that run from the federal government. But you know, that's because I don't think airline economics work at all unless you get like all of these incentives from the government.
Maybe.
So, yeah.
Things without telling anybody, canceling surgeries. And the grass was so high that a helicopter came and landed for one of the patients, and FAA, somebody, I guess, wrote a letter to the hospital or called and said, we will shut down your helipad if you don't maintain the grounds around it. So our CEO went out and mowed the lawn.
The CEO of this hospital?
Yeah, and everything just became, Steward had all the reins. They didn't even give the checkbook to the administration. So even if they wanted to pay the landscape.
Why would somebody be emotionally invested in their mom dying because the closest hospital is too far away? Sloppulism indeed. I agree. I think there should be a hospital next to every single old person's home.
Every corner.
Nobody ever dies. Wicked Demirj. Agreed. Every corner needs a hospital. Please.
Or the supplier, Steward Corporate wouldn't write them a check. And your job as a nurse or caregiver became like to try and hide the work of getting the supplies needed for a patient. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, we knew they filed bankruptcy, and all of a sudden they were like, nope, we're, closing Neshoba and Kearney.
I would tell you, after they closed the first 2 weeks, it was unsustainable. I was like, we're never going to survive. We averaged 9 calls a day, but some days it's 21 calls. You know what I mean? 4 people.
With the distance now,
yeah,
there's no
it's just
stop.
Titled
You're in
as
an ambulance.
grandmas.
Whoa, true.
It's quite often, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Police station, fire station, school, post office, hospital. These are like public services.
Yeah.
You ever think about that?
Oh, absolutely. I remember saying to somebody, like, if somebody said all of a sudden, like, oh, so we only have so many desks for kindergarten now, and but we've got 100 kindergartners coming in, but we only have 50 desks. So 50 of those kindergartners, we're going to give you the books to take home and you can just do it on your own. But these other 50 kindergartners are going to get to go through school. The town would lose their mind. But if for whatever reason in a hospital, it's just like, oh, it's become the norm and people are so desensitized to it.
Walking around.
Why do you think almost every other developed country agrees that life-saving care should be a service instead of a business? So I'm pretty sure most countries have some form of private compensated thing, number one. Number two, I mean, like, everything comes with costs. Fuck, I saw a thread, I think it was on that Pit subreddit, where I think it was some bonger posted a thing and they were like, I'm just curious. So how realistic is this TV show? Is it really true that, like, when a patient shows up at the emergency room, like, 1 or 2 doctors are actually there immediately? Because in Bongerland, you go 10 minutes in the death bay and you hope you survive until somebody shows up to treat you. Like, I'm not saying that one is better than the other or not. I mean, obviously there needs to be our minimum level of service, it needs to be higher than it probably is in the United States, but
People are so desensitized to it.
Walking around with those two and hearing stories about what's gone wrong in this community since this hospital's been abandoned, it leaves me with a lot of questions. The biggest one probably is one you share too, which is, shouldn't we just ban the things that caused this place to close? Ban private equity in hospitals, ban sale leasebacks? But the truth is a lot more complicated than that. At its most basic level, private equity just means private capital owning companies that aren't publicly traded. What people usually mean when they say private equity is buyout private equity, where a group of investors will raise capital, normally through debt, to buy a company and improve it, or at least kind of make it look better on the balance sheet.
Destiny, that's not really the argument he's making. We're talking about a hospital which served communities in emergent situations 5 minutes away from them versus 45 minutes. That's an entire ACLS cycle. It's quite literally the difference between life and death for a lot of emergency cases. Sure, well, then go buy the building, pay for all the staff to be in there, pay for the medical equipment to run it, and do, I mean, like, if you think it's so important, then go, I mean, like, obviously this is the issue, right, is how do you fund places like this? Where do you get the resources to establish and fund places like this for like an adequate amount of rural communities in the United States of America? I don't even know if it's possible. I think this is a uniquely American issue too. Because I think we have more higher percentage of our population living in rural areas than I think like most European countries do. I think, don't quote me on that, but I've
also,
heard that said a lot. But
it's kind of interesting, but all of our hospitals, for the most part, are all like privately owned. The ones that aren't, they're like either going to be like university hospitals, like technically owned by the state, like the University of Florida, University of Miami, etc. That would be like a state-owned hospital, if you will. And then the federal ones would probably be all VA-related stuff. But aside from that, I bet that federal stuff, I bet that's like 2%. I bet like of hospitals is 2%, and then state stuff like another 10% or 15. I don't know, something. But I bet you the fucking vast majority of it is like privately owned. And, you know, if people don't like it, they should change it. I mean, there's a reason we don't have private fucking fire departments. I don't know. It's not good.
Times by getting
Thanks
rid
for
of
the
a lot
insight
of
there,
cost.
Destiny. Fuck yourself, retard.
what do you want me to say? Yeah, it's not good.
I want
yeah.
you to say something.
I don't have anything else to add.
You say something.
Yeah, yes, good, true.
Dan, you were corn popping out there.
I wasn't. I was giving real fucking data. Fuck you guys.
You were corn popping, and we let you go.
You're
honestly.
guessing
You should be
percentage
thanking
numbers.
us.
I have no idea. Maybe. I'm going to fuck your mom.
They say private equity is buyout private equity, where a group of investors will raise capital, normally through debt, to buy a company and improve it, or at least kind of make it look better on the balance sheet, sometimes by getting rid of a lot of costs. And then they sell it back to the public markets or to a bigger company. Sometimes that can be done to really great effect in a way that helps a lot of people. Take Planet Fitness, for example. Private equity helped scale what was a little gym company into a giant nationwide fitness chain. So banning private equity outright, that just doesn't make sense. Same with sale leasebacks. The New York Times is a good example. That was a company that was on the doorstep of death. but they had this beautiful office tower in Manhattan, and they sold it, and they used the capital to reinvest in its business, and today it's a digital news publication that has millions of subscribers. So if the answer isn't to just ban private equity or ban private equity in healthcare or ban sale leasebacks, then what do we do about all this? I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't have a great answer for that.
Fuck!
But my instinct is a good place to start is by talking about the people responsible for what happened. Like Ralph De La Torre. He's faced some scrutiny, sure. He got dragged before Congress. In fact, he's been held in contempt of Congress. But he hasn't been charged with any crimes. He still has that $40 million yacht down in Fort Lauderdale.
Wait, what exactly did he do that they're alleging was illegal? Was it the land buyer and then the lease and the sellback or whatever?
And he's just one beneficiary of a plot that is still
Are they even alleging that it's illegal or that it's just like immoral?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Holding.
I walked all around the abandoned hospital that day, some by myself and some with Audra.
The second story was the ICU. We took care of quite sick people up there, you know?
The place felt cold, desolate. It had that post-apocalyptic feel of being suddenly abandoned. But it wasn't always this way. Audra told me her grandmother used to work there. That shook me because it reminded me this place was around for generations before it closed, through good economies and bad. It shook me because the transaction that destroyed this place is, even today, being repeated over and over. Some of the sources we spoke to for this story, particularly those close to the world of private equity, blamed the company that bought the land under this hospital and charged high rent for it more than they even blamed Steward Healthcare or even Ralph De La Torre.
I think you just have to assume, as most countries that have free healthcare, that if you're the government, you're not going to make money on providing care for most people, and that's okay. Yeah, that's fine, but most Americans won't accept that. Most Americans don't want to degrade any of the level of healthcare that people that buy insurance or people that have work insurance or whatever have. No, most people right now in the United States aren't willing to degrade that to transfer to some kind of single payer, multi-payer system or whatever.
Torre. These sources say MPT's management pay structure, earlier based on deals completed and later company share price, gives MPT every incentive to get rent payments from hospitals to be as high as possible, even if it forces those hospitals to cut services or worse, go bankrupt. MPT, meanwhile, is able to use those high rent payments.
Do you have a take on healthcare? Like, should we have a single payer, or do you not have like a fleshed out?
I feel like a multi-payer system or some kind of more social provider system or public option, I think, is better than what we have now. I think we can degrade a little bit of our top line spending on healthcare in order to improve like availability. I think it'd be good. But
do you buy the argument like that we currently spend more on healthcare than we would if we had a single payer?
I think the issue is that Americans want choice on a lot of shit. We want the latest and greatest drugs, and we get a lot of old people that consume a fuck ton of healthcare expenditures. That's the issue. But the problem is nobody ever talks about any of those categories of consumption. They always just fixate on insurance companies. Like it's the most like retard bait part of the entire conversation. It's like the least relevant part from anything I've ever heard of. It's for actually informed people talking about the cost of healthcare. The insurance companies are like the least relevant part of all of it, but it's the singular part that people are hyper fucking fixated on, ignoring the fact that every part of our healthcare system is compensated higher than every other equivalent part in the world. Our doctors are paid more than any other doctors in the world. Our nurses are paid more than any other doctors in the world. If you knew nurses in Canada, I'm pretty sure they were coming down during COVID to fucking work as traveling nurses down in the United States during that. I think our hospital administrators, our pharmaceutical companies make more money and sell drugs for more than like every single part of the U.S. healthcare system it makes more money and is better compensated and is also like generally at the cutting edge for a lot of technologies and shit.
Do you think that they should be that highly compensated? At like
it comes down to a choice on I mean, personally, I would say probably not. I think that you could probably make the argument that there is like a social good, a social utility in providing better access to coverage or access to services in the United States rather than just being on the cutting edge for everything. But that's just it's a really, really, really hard decision to make. But
well, yeah, it's like, are you going to cut everybody's fucking pay tomorrow to like give better healthcare out or whatever?
Pay and then access to the latest and greatest drugs and access to the latest and greatest surgeries to cut back a little bit on this. Like, it's an easy thing to say in the aggregate, but like you got to consider that the people that are being impacted by this the worst are going to be people that are generally at the wealthiest portions of their life, because it's going to be people as you age, as you're later on in life. So you've accumulated more wealth as you get later on in life. And the people that are loudest about like healthcare related stuff are usually the people that are the least engaged with the system. It's going to be young kids or college kids or younger people on the internet who generally just don't consume healthcare that much. So it's just everything about the conversation is fucking AIDS cancer. So. Destiny, the U.S. healthcare cutting edge. Meanwhile, China is going through a peptide revolution. China's biggest advancements in healthcare in the past 10 years was figuring out how to bolt steel fucking cages on top of people's houses so they couldn't leave when they had COVID. Okay, I should suck my dick.
Raise more capital to buy more hospital land.
In their last financial statement of 2025, MPT said it had the land under 388 hospitals. Medical property.
One thing I don't understand, and I just don't know what the laws are on this. I just don't understand any antitrust or anything in the U.S. I don't know why you can own businesses with conflicting interests. That just seems retarded to me. And at least what he's talking about here with this land hospital thing, I don't know why you would ever be allowed to do this. Like imagine
you're like allowed to be a landlord over a hospital that you also own.
Or just to be a conflicting. I feel like the interests there the alignment, or it can be
they're not equal,
misaligned.
Absolutely. Yeah, because you're trying to maximize your profit from your tenant. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not necessarily bad. Every business should be doing that. But like, what if there comes a point to where like one business can make more money destroying the other business?
Like you destroy the hospital because you know that somebody else will come in and pay you more?
Yeah. Like I can understand if it's different business owners, then that's fine. But if it's the same business owner, I don't know, is that a difference? I don't know, that feels not good. Yeah, I don't know. I have to think about it. I'm not sure. I don't know.
Properties Trust is still doing it. They are still raising capital to do more deals where they buy the land under hospitals.
A Harvard study found that hospitals owned by real estate investment trusts are significant.
Like this also I just hate everything having to do with land as well. Like this feels very, I don't know if you could call this like rent seeking. I hate everything having to do with land. This feels like very scumfucky. We could just see robust demand for hospital real estate from sophisticated infrastructure investors. Like, yes, welcome to the planet Earth. Yeah, people need land to do shit, obviously, for hospitals as well. I don't know, man. We just need to. The government needs to steal all of the land. Where are the where are the Georgists at? Where are the I don't actually know if a land value tax would actually address zoning appropriately the number of hospitals, but I don't actually know. But.
Dan's side-eyeing right now.
A Harvard study found that hospitals owned by real estate investment trusts are significantly more likely to close or enter bankruptcy than hospitals that keep ownership of their land.
In many, many cases, the hospitals continue to operate so that they can pay rent, but services degrade and degrade and degrade. Meanwhile, the CEO of Medical Properties Trust continues to do extremely well. Public records say he made $16 million.
Like, I understand that it's like, this is our nice, like, populist shit. It's like my dick is getting hard, my balls are turning like a light shade of blue, like I'm super fucking, edged up and ready to come all over. Like, this hyperfixation. Like, the CEO, like, I don't give a fuck if the CEO was broke or if he killed himself at the end. Like, it doesn't really matter. It just seems like this particular, the way that these entities are structured seems to be not good. Like, the misalignment in incentives here, especially if it's the same owner, this seems to be really toxic. I don't know. I just don't like it. It just seems bad. But I don't give a fuck if the CEO, spent all his money on fucking asshole enlargement surgery or whatever.
He made
$16
million in 2024. Over the past few years, his stock awards and general compensation has totaled up to $70 million. And while we were researching this story, I found this one video of him that I cannot get out of my mind.
I'll see this child with this horrible disease, and she'll look up at me and give me this incredible smile and tell me to have a good day. And then I get reminded to myself exactly why it is that we do what we do. I hope that in 5 years, our company has doubled in size, and I hope that I've made a difference in the lives of the people here in Birmingham and long after I'm gone.
There's all sorts of ways you can measure the impact MPT's had on this community. One of them is to consider how many patients like that little girl are in this hospital today. I know the number.
0.
It's 0.
Damn, because it's closed, dumbass. That's not impressive.
Thanks for watching this episode. Before you go, I want to take a moment to talk about the sources of this story.
So what was his
Obviously,
whole
we
point
conducted
here?
an enormous...
Well, he was honest at the end.
Is that guy
I
evil?
do appreciate that he said that like private equity is not always bad and private ownership is not always bad. And he gave he actually gave a real example of it helping a place. And then he said that it sounded like he said there's no answer because it's complicated. But then, yeah, I just don't the hyperfixation on CEO shit. It just feels like kind of cringe.
Well, I shouldn't feel like he like gave an answer to the video.
That's because literally nobody, because anytime somebody dives into this with any amount of like understanding of all the different parts involved, it feels like everybody basically just says it's a complicated clusterfuck of like so many different things. But the biggest issue is that the Americans that are most impacted by healthcare probably wouldn't want to see it change in the way that the people who are least impacted by healthcare, you know, clamor for change to occur. So, yeah, I don't know.
It's a big, what do you want me to say?
What do you want me to say? How is executive overcompensation not relevant? Talk about strawmanning. What they spend their money on isn't the convo, because I seriously doubt executive overcompensation is why all these places end up shutting down. Three dead in suspected hantavirus outbreak on Atlantic cruise ship. What the fuck is that?
Just leave him out there.
Hantavirus?
Sounds like that'll sort itself out.
Jesus Christ, Moon. They're children. It's a child's cruise.
Well, sounds like pedophiles are going to die then.
The pilots are children too. They're all children. There are no pedophiles. They can't be.
Really now? You don't think a child can be a pedophile?
Nope, because every single person on that ship is age 16.
And you don't think a 16-year-old could be a pedophile? I just want to get that on the record, yeah?
We wouldn't know because there are no children on board to see.
Okay, I see.
So we'll just keep having excessive maternal mortality among other issues. Unlucky. True. Let's pretend like maternal mortality is an issue that impacts every single population, socioeconomically and racially, the exact same, and we just need to broadly improve our infrastructure, and then that number that is mysteriously high, that is definitely evenly spread throughout all of our population, will magically get better. True, Wicked Emerge. Another brilliant, genius comment. Another ingenious contribution to the healthcare debate in the United States, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much.
You're a genius, dude.
You're a genius.
It's the Northern Lion cruise. He was right.
Oh, shit. Why not decouple insurance from people's jobs? Why can't health insurance work like car insurance, like offered on the open market? I don't know. We started doing it, and I don't think anybody wants to leave it. It feels retarded to me, but... Okay, I don't know how much of this we'll watch. It's my last fucking video I have queued up for today, Lisa.
As an existential threat to the United States.
I think you have this idea that if people stopped focusing on the billionaires, they'd be able to engage in quality arguments based on the merits of the costs and desired outcomes of policy or something. The people are fucking retarded. They can't engage in the level of abstraction required. Then they don't need to. Then they don't have to have an opinion. They can just shut the fuck up and let the actual people that have the opinions engage in that debate. Because right now, the conversation goes nowhere, and we make no improvements because the only fixation is on how many healthcare CEOs get assassinated or who has what yacht. Right now, the conversation is so degraded, we can't make any progress at all. So maybe if the people that are only hooked in because they want to see billionaires die or some shit, maybe if they fuck off and just stop talking about it, then maybe the people that actually give a fuck about the topic can make some progress on it. I don't know. That'd be my guess. Considering we've complained about like some of the same handful of issues for 20 or 30 years, and the public conversation has moved exactly 0 steps on some of these things from the Occupy Wall Street days. I don't know. I could do with a few less people being so fucking invested in issues that they literally know fuck all about. But hey, I could be wrong. Maybe tomorrow the Hassans of the world are going to solve Israel-Palestine, and I don't know. Destiny, every layer of the U.S. healthcare system maximize shareholder returns. That's why we're in the situation we're in. You know that every layer of the grocery store system maximizes returns for shareholders, right? And same thing with clothing, and same thing with construction material and electronics and every single fucking thing in the United States. Yes, welcome to capitalism. Yeah, that's what you do. This is true in a lot of European countries as well. Not coops. True.
Why are you yelling?
I'm not yelling. Actually true. Who is chromatic one? Mod this guy. Mayhaps it is the medicine that is bad, and the hospital CEOs are good. Chat acting like they need access to medicine makes it seem like they're junkies, while the CEOs are trying to gatekeep them from addiction. Well... Grocery store economics is the same as healthcare. Good one, Destiny. Grocery store economics is the same as healthcare. Oh, really? Let's say tomorrow I remove all healthcare from you, and I also remove all groceries from you. What are you more likely to die of first, gravy train? Got him.
Nuke the entire world. Israel is the
I
biggest
fucked
threat
my
to
Lego
world
build up somewhere.
How?
It's fine. It's not that big of a deal.
peace.
Let us never forget who the real enemy is.
The enemy is Israel.
We need to decouple from this country.
We need to decouple. Decouple. Let's separate.
We need to free America from this sick, perverse, parasitic organism that has attached itself to us.
Destiny, you're overextending the point. Medicine is uniquely poorly suited for markets. Lack of information flow, coercion, etc. 99.9999% of food buyers are not starving, but a meaningful portion of all medical buyers are in acute pain or danger. Really? The vast majority of medical expenditure is on people about to die in an emergency room? That's the most amount of money, the most time that people spend engaged with healthcare? You're the youngest, you're the average person that talks about healthcare on the internet. That's who you are right now. You're the average person. Well, what is all of healthcare? I mean, like, it's basically going to the emergency room when you're fucking dying. That's not, I don't even think, find me numbers. Go find me numbers if you believe that the majority of our healthcare expenditure, even 50%, is on borderline death cases. My guess is the vast majority is spent probably on end-of-life care bullshit that's not at the edge of death. And then on, like, preventative care and screening and going to appointments and stuff that's, like, it can be, like, elective. That doesn't mean it's not necessary, but, like, scheduling appointments and surgeries and stuff, like, at some point in time. You don't have to have it right now. You're not going to fucking die. Like, the majority of healthcare expenditures and the majority of engagement with healthcare is not like, I'm in the emergency room. I'm fucking dying. Jesus. But you think that because you're, like, 27, and the only time you've ever even fathomed going to a hospital is when you think you're going to get hit by a car or something. It's literally all healthcare, though. I'm getting one guide. If you don't get healthcare, you will eventually die. You know, the people that get healthcare eventually die, too. That's a good one, guy. Good job. The vast majority is end-of-life care, which hits my standard. End-of-life care, wicked. Most end-of-life care is when you're old. You know, you actually have a thing that can tell you when you need that care in the future. It's called your age. 80 years old doesn't sneak up on you. This is the thing you spend your whole life planning for. I'm getting one guide by this guy.
Why don't we bring him in voice call?
No. Let me watch my Richard video.
Foreign nationals leeching off.
I think that's actually enough. You get the point. So
why the mustache? Why do people? I don't care. Never mind. I like it.
Let me get the conversation started here by throwing out a few things. First off, it is interesting that both of these figures, who are representative of broader movements, left liberals on the part of Anna Kasparian and white nationalists or the dissident right, et cetera, on the part of Nick Fuentes. They're both representatives. They're not just two individuals, might agree. They both have come to Trump rather recently. Well, it's complicated with Nick. He didn't endorse Trump after the Vance nomination, and he's critical of Trump. But let's also just be honest here. They're sort of attached at the hip. And I don't think Nick could ever fully emancipate himself from MAGA. And he will often make arguments like Trump isn't going far enough and there's not enough deportations. We got to have more of these and so on and so on. So there is a deep connection between Nick and MAGA that will never go away. One day we'll have a real America First candidate or something. This is the rhetoric. With Anna Kasparian, it's very interesting because they were the prototypical, crying on election night when Hillary lost type people. And then they started moving closer to Trump and were at the very least anti-Biden and might have even affected the election to some small, if significant degree, coaxing people not to vote or demoralizing them, et cetera. There does seem to be a sort of Trumpian or post-Trump populism of the left and right that is real, that has a constituency, and that is also young. And we can go look at all of these polls, Harry Enton CNN clips, where he is just laying it out. Among under 40s, Israel used to have a plus 20 favorability rating. Many more people who were favorable than critical. Now it's negative 20 or negative 25. It's in the dumpster. It's bad.
Damn.
And there's just been this turning on Israel. And I don't think it's wrong to suggest that when you turn on Israel, you're sort of anti-Semitic.
Wait, how did he go so far to the other side? God damn it.
I mean, it just is what it is. Anna Kasparian has been accused of engaging in anti-Semitic parodies and stereotypes, etc. It just is what it is. There's this other aspect that I think would be a good way to get the discussion going, and you brought this up, which was that there was a time, you understand, things were different, and there was a red pilling process that would go on.
Whoa.
And this was the chorus honorum for my career in life, which is that you keep taking darker shades of the red pill. You keep taking a bigger red pill or more red pill.
TKing?
Maybe first
Mystic.
you're red pilled on the fact that the liberals hate you or something like that. And then you start to get red pilled on like women, feminism's bad. Women are not delicate angels. They're out to get you, etc. Then you kind of take a deeper red pill and it's like blacks are dumb. Low IQs, there's nothing you can do. And then you kind of keep going down this road of red pills and you end up with the ultimate red pill, which really is the JQ. And it's some variation
What's
on
the
it's a
JQ?
Jewish controlled world.
The Jewish question.
Jews are evolved to be evil in some way. Judaism itself is rather wicked. They're just some Jews in Hollywood, Jews in Wall Street. Some version of that is the dark red pill. And so there are people who are sort of half red pilled. Jared Taylor is half red pilled. He's good on the black question, but not on the JQ. That's the criticism. And Ron Paul, he's semi red pilled, don't you think? I heard all of this kind of stuff. But what we've seen, and I totally agree with your analysis here, is what we've seen is that linear quality to being red pilled has been totally disrupted. And I don't think is even that like useful anymore. And what seems to be happening among average normies, left liberals like Anna, people who voted for Zoran Mandami, some people who voted for both Bernie Sanders and Trump, it's a sizable percentage of the population, that they are weirdly JQ pilled without being red pilled on blacks or even feminism or things like that. And I find this, this is sort of inside baseball in the sense that we're talking about the pipeline, which way it's going and what's happening online. But I actually think it's very significant. And looking at some of those polls, there's this clip that was going viral, getting millions of views of Harry Enten talking about under 40s going hard on Israel. People at the 2PPUSA convention asking questions about the USS Liberty. I could go on and on. What we seem to be seeing is that average normies, radicalized millennials who can never afford a house and they're now 40, conservative activist types, religious right people, they're all getting JQ.
Giuliani
the Trump shit?
couldn't handle being disbarred. Mayor Rudy Giuliani is currently in the hospital where he remains in critical but stable condition. Mayor Giuliani is a fighter who has faced every challenge in his life with unwavering strength, and he's fighting with the same level of strength as we speak. We do ask that you join us in prayer for America's Mayor Rudy Giuliani.
Trump had some new crazy
without
tweets
maybe
too.
any of
Well, I don't know. He's always
the other pills. And this seems to be a major social phenomenon. Megyn Kelly got JQ pilled, at least to some degree. Carrie Prejean Bowler is just an outright anti-Semite at this point. Like, what is happening? What, beyond just low IQ anti-Semitism, like what is happening here in terms of just a social phenomenon that we are seeing? And I'll now that I've set it up, I'll give it over to you.
Okay.
So there's a guy on Substack called Non-Zionism. He's an Orthodox Jew who lives in Israel. And he has this theory of anti-Semitism.
And he's an anti-Zionist?
No, he's a non-Zionist.
Non-Zionist, okay.
So, I could waste time talking about what that
Sure,
means. But
okay.
the point of the fact is that he has this theory of anti-Semitism that if you go back to Germany after the First World War, even during the First World War, actually, if you read the memoirs of Ludendorff, he created this fatherland party during the war, which was meant to because they recognized that there was this discontent in Germany. There were food shortages, there were shortages of all sorts of goods. Life was difficult. People were malnourished. The war was extremely hard on the German population. And so all of these socialists and Democrats and radicals were agitating to end the war. And they were agitating against the monarchy. They were agitating against Christianity. It seemed as if society itself was collapsing during the war. And so Ludendorff came up with this program, which he said it would be a nationalistic program with the workers' interests. Now, if that sounds familiar to you, it's because Hitler didn't invent the idea, right? So this is an idea whose time had already come. And Ludendorff attempted to implement that during the war, of course, sort of haphazardly. It didn't have a systematic program. Ludendorff was never the dictator of Germany, although
this
the
Hitler guy,
newspapers would call him the dictator. You of course had Hindenburg above him, and then you had the Kaiser and the parliament and so on. So he was never able to fully implement that program. But there was an attempt. And what occurred after the disaster of the end of the war, where there's 1 million German civilians died after the war. People don't know this, but the British blockade starved civilians after the armistice was signed. Which, if we would talk about the Gaza genocide, like the least you can say is that after the war ended, after the ceasefire, the Israelis started to let food in. The British didn't do that, so it was a desperate situation for these people. And that formula of combining nationalism with the workers' interests, it wasn't, there was still something missing there, because these two sides, the nationalists and the socialists, had really diverged significantly in the aftermath of, there was a low-grade civil war. There were these Spartacist revolts. There was the Freikorps fighting in the streets, the Kapp Putsch. So Germany was in a state of low-grade civil war. It wasn't happening everywhere all the time. It wasn't, there technically was a central government and so on, but you would just see these cities, basically hundreds of people shooting each other in the streets, almost a form of gang warfare, just total chaos. And so as a result of that, this fatherland party ideal that Ludendorff was pushing for, he wasn't able to move it forward because of this deep division between the Browns and the Reds, between the nationalists and the socialists. And this polarization only continued as the middle hollowed out, as the Social Democrats, who actually were the strongest party following the collapse, they started to whittle down because everyone blamed them for everything that had happened. And as a result, you got the Nazis and the communists being these two camps that were kind of inevitable, that one of them was going to take over. And so what the Nazis, I think, realized early on, in comparison with these other conservatives who were not so anti-Semitic, is they realized that anti-Semitism serves a vital function. If you're living in Germany between
It's our pressure release valve for society.
19 and 1929, you're experiencing 3 back-to-back Great Depression events: economic collapse, hyperinflation, everyone loses all their life savings, 30% unemployment, breadlines. If you're experiencing that, then you know in your heart that the elites have done you wrong. And whether you're a communist, you know that's right. Whether you're an anti-Semite, you know that's right. The only people who couldn't say that so boldly were these kind of stodgy old conservatives said, oh, well, we just need the monarchy back. That the aristocrats had it right. The First World War wasn't that bad. Let's just return to what we had. That argument was not convincing. And so anti-Semitism, what it did is it went to the communists and said, you guys believe that the bourgeoisie and the capitalists are responsible for everything wrong. And we say, you're half right. You're half right. What you're missing is the fact that they're Jewish. And then you could go to
To your argument, you were car crash age when you were last poor. Wouldn't that make you out of touch with the healthcare realities of most Americans around your age that are preparing for end-of-life care? How old do you think I am? Hello?
nationalists. You could say, you believe that the problem is the attacks on Christianity and it's communism and it's the destruction of the family and all this. And you're half right. But what you don't recognize is it's the Jews. And so they could go to both of these sides who were supposedly on total polar opposites fighting each other in the streets and say, you actually have a common enemy in the Jews. Now, of course, the Nazis literally believed that to be true. They weren't just making a propagandistic point. But what he's saying is that this ideology emerged to become so popular because it was so useful. And if you actually look at Nazi Germany from 1933 until 1945, there was no workers' uprising. There was no communist revolt. It didn't happen in the Wehrmacht. It didn't happen in the civil service. It was totally quiet. Now, yes, they put thousands of leading communists in concentration camps, but there were millions of communist voters in 1932. Yeah. Where did they all go? Well, they became Nazis. Why? Because they were actually convinced. Their minds were changed. They were persuaded to believe that, yeah, this whole time we were fighting for workers' rights, and as it turned out, I guess Hitler was right. I guess it was the Jews because he had this economic miracle following 1934. There was German rearmament, rather than hyperinflation, you had hyperemployment. You had growth in the economy because he restarted the arms industry and had all these programs and plans that, had he not started the war in 1939, maybe there would have been all the enormous government debt would have shown itself to have made those economic programs not as successful. But in any case, the argument, they were convinced by that argument. The actual people who revolted against Hitler were not communists. They were not socialists. They were Catholics. It was Admiral Canaris, and all these assassination attempts were done by Catholics, elites. Why? Because they saw Hitler as trying to create a new elite and replace them. They heard whisperings of this. You look at Martin Bormann, atheist; Joseph Goebbels, atheist; Himmler, esoteric paganist. All of these people in the top ranks of the Nazis, they were basically saying, once we win this war, we're going to deal with the Catholic question. We've already dealt with the Jewish question. Now we need to deal with the Catholic question. The theologists, you could say, of the Third Reich, Rosenberg, explicitly attacked these people and said, you know what, we got to get rid of the Catholics and the Protestants. We need a new form of Christianity. We have to get rid of all these people. So the people who were the most threatened by Hitler were these Catholic elites, essentially, if you actually look at who was doing all the attempts at assassinating Hitler and so on. So all of that is to say that anti-Semitism was really a very convincing, popular program. The Nazis didn't adopt it because they were fringe weirdos and freaks, which is what a lot of people like to say of, they tricked the German people. No, they went to the German people with candy bars, and they said, we love candy. This is great. This solves all the problems. It unites the country. And so what we're looking at now is in America, which is in a very different circumstance, right? We have material plenty. No one is starving. In fact, all the poor people are obese. So we're not living in Weimar Germany, clearly. But what we do have is an extreme political polarization of society because Christian, we could call it conservative liberalism or moderate politics. All of that has collapsed. You could blame the internet. You could blame declining religiousness. You could blame the break apart of the family, or say that all these things have a third underlying cause. But the point is that we've lost that central trust in authority. We have crisis of authority. And so the question is, what unites us all? If it's not Christianity, if it's not the Constitution, if it's not democracy, whatever, what can unite us? Well, we could have a common enemy. And if you're on the right, that common enemy can be Israel. And if you're on the left, the common enemy can be Israel. There is an interesting kind of weird contradiction on both the left and right. On the left, it's very obvious because, of course, you got George Soros, you've got innumerable Jews throughout American history, built the civil rights regime, and they, have always been good leftists. I think Batya Ungar Sargon, whatever the hell her name is, like she makes this argument of, the left, they're anti-Semitic, but don't they know that we literally built the Democratic Party? We did all this stuff, and it's like this weird self-reporting behavior.
The Jews are like, please shut up, Batya. Please, you are not helping. We did trans. We did feminism. We did lesbianism.
Right.
It's all Jews, all the way down. We did. You're welcome, left. And like they're like actual pogroms outside of the television studio while she's talking.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's very funny, but obviously on the left there is that contradiction where it's like the Jews have been so important in the history of American leftism. For the American left now to be anti-Israel, anti-Semitic seems kind of like the golem revolting against its master sort of thing, right? But then on the right, you also have a phenomenon going on where the right wing, like the core young people, they are groypers, they are anti-Semitic, they are anti-Israel, and yet. Who is this radical right being patronized? It's by this network, which is heavily Israeli, heavily pro-Netanyahu. The entire Trump movement, like Nick Fuentes wants to make this argument, like, well, back in 2016, Trump was based, but now he's cringe. Now he's been captured by the GOP establishment. But if you actually look at who started Breitbart and Bannon and Roger Stone, and all roads go to Israel. So this is it's a Jared Kushner operation through both terms. It's completely, and they don't care. Sheldon Adelson didn't care. Whatever these leading important wealthy families that backed him from the very start, they're all really tied in with Israel. And so it's very difficult to make this argument of, we were hoodwinked. No, you just didn't want to see what was in front of you. And so that continues to be the case today. Whereas in the left, you could argue that maybe the hypocrisy runs the other way. It's that, well, don't you understand that leftism is a Jewish project and you're somehow claiming to be a leftist, but you're anti-Israel? Like, how does that make sense, right? So they have a historical problem. For the right, it's the opposite. It's that historically, the right wing was actually not so pro-Israel. Say what you will about George W. Bush, but he did not partition Iraq into 3 countries as Netanyahu was pushing for. You heard that all the time of, there's a Kurdish, Shiite, Sunni, and really there are 3 different countries and we should just split it up. That was the Israeli plan for Iraq. George Bush didn't do that. He criticized Israel for violating human trafficking laws. They said we want a 2-state solution. We do not support settlements. Those are illegal. They're against international law. We're going to be against that. So, George Bush actually, like the traditional Republican position, was not as radical as what Trump was doing. And it continues in this direction.
He supported democratic rights in Gaza. Remember, the reason why the reason why Hamas got elected and was ruling Gaza was 100% due to George W. Bush and his true belief that these Arabs should vote.
Right.
I mean, which is
I mean that this position that the GOP is moving in an anti-Semitic or anti-Zionist direction, there is a fundamental contradiction because you look at all of these, you can almost say that there was a GOP establishment.
Actually, that was the most retarded thing I've ever heard. But no, actually, I think it was the United States that pushed pretty hard for if we're gonna do anything related to this Palestinian stuff and all this, like they gotta vote, and they voted
and now there's a MAGA establishment. At this point, they are so entrenched. They have so much money. They have so much power and influence. Joe Rogan is in the MAGA establishment. Dave Smith, they're in the MAGA. They pretend to be RFK. All these people who we're dissidents. We're on the fringe. We're cool. We're hippies. It's like, you know what? The hippies were manufactured by the CIA, and so are you. You're all the same. It's all the same. I mean, I'm exaggerating in conspiratorial fashion, but there is a point to it, which is that these people who most loudly have to proclaim that they're revolutionaries and they're outside the system, they're at the top of the system. One way I could put it is there is a blue deep state and there is a red deep state. There is a deep state which is represented by Harvard and the State Department and is sort of anti-Zionist and pro-Taiwan and pro-Ukraine. And then there is a deep state that says, well, we could make a lot of money by trading with Russia again. We could make a lot of money. Just give them Ukraine. These are the Peter Thiels and the Elon Musk and the Silicon Valley and all those things. And that this emergence of these 2 parallel deep states that hate each other, they want to put one another in jail and so on. They do have these this contradictory.
Holy yep. Why was I like this? Just a random thing on anti-Semitism, I guess. Oh, okay. What?
I'm fucking Lego fucked right now.
How big is your thing? Why aren't you doing this with Peach?
5,000.
Shouldn't this be like a relationship thing? Why are you building this on your own?
This is my fucking job. This is my burden. You think, brother, You think I want to build with someone?
Jesus.
Ain't no way.
Ain't no way. According to multiple polls, Abdul is the only candidate in Michigan that could lose us the Senate seat in the midterms. Imagine we try to lose a blue seat thanks to leftists and Hassan. Republicans' odds to flipping the Michigan U.S. Senate seat jump overnight. I mean, like, these are all, we're still far away from this. Anything could happen, right? Wait, just kidding. The primary is in August, right? Oh, the primary, sorry. What's your take on packing the court? Did you see that Newsom is not in favor of it? Oh, link me that. I think I saw that, but I didn't. Or like I saw it posted on the subreddit, but I didn't watch it or whatever. Wait, what are you building? How many Lego pieces?
5,374.
How expensive was that set?
I bought it on Facebook Marketplace. It was like 600 Canadian.
What
the fuck?
Didn't we watch this already?
Your business is only you.
We already watched this. Has this lady's case moved anymore? Some legal analysts believe the DA's decision to seek a full grand jury indictment rather than a faster procedural path suggests prosecutors are approaching the case with particular seriousness. Federal indictment for this girl. Damn, this girl's life is being destroyed.
What did she do?
She posted that. Did she post a video of the guy on her TikTok? If she did, it was so stupid.
Yes.
Shouldn't have done it.
Oh, that girl?
Yeah.
Retard.
You know what? I'm going to say it right now. You ready?
Okay.
She's got the face of the person that would do that. I'm not afraid to say it. 100%. If you showed me 100 women and said which one is going to illegally enter an apartment and take a video of a guy, I would pick her 100 times out of 100 times.
Nice. What was your final take on it again? I'd have to go back and check. If I hit the gas, I'm pretty sure it was that she did like a bad, she shouldn't have, but like people blew this way out of proportion. And I think it was fair. I think her initial interpretation of what happened, I think felt fair. Like I could understand it from her perspective. I just don't know why she would post the video on fucking TikTok. That was retarded.
Well, you want likes, you know, you're a victim.
Yeah, people are way too quick to fucking put every fucking part of their life on social media today. It's insane, especially younger people. Jesus Christ.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the guy did it on purpose, not gonna lie. I don't know. I don't think there was enough evidence to say the guy did it on purpose. I don't think I saw anything.
Concluders in chat.
Yeah, I don't think I saw anything compelling to say that.
3 counts of aggravated robbery.
Newsom hesitant to pack courts over fear of Republican response, according to Josiah. So it looks like this was a video, and you linked me a Destiny subreddit post of a screenshot of Josiah's tweet. Okay, good one.
Just ban him.
No, didn't she literally open the guy's door and film him? Unless something has changed, there's no proof of that whatsoever. There were like 50 million false statements that people spun up of this. I think the video starts, I think, with the guy's door already open, but some people were saying there was a video of her opening the door. I don't think that video ever existed. I think a ton of people made a ton of stuff up about this on different sides to this, but
counts of aggravated robbery, 3 counts of attempted murder, 2 counts of capital murder, illegal possession of guns, illegal possession of cocaine, illegal possession of meth? Why are you using meth?
I don't use meth, I move meth, nigga.
Oh, you move meth. You sure is right, because it says all that in your new song. Why would you say that in your new song?
My new hit single, I just killed a nigga and I move drugs.
She opened the door. It was in the article you didn't read. I'm telling you, I don't care about the article. I need to see more information because I saw what the article said, but we read that around the time where it happened, and I'm almost
we were fucking
positive,
analyzing Ring doorbells and everything.
I didn't read the article, but I already know what you're going to say, and it's going to say something like, it was reported that there was ring cam footage or whatever. This is the claim that kept being made, that there was ring cam footage of her opening the door. If that's true, then that's like, it's over for her. That's the dumbest fucking thing. She has no defense or whatever. But that was a claim that I think showed up on like an Instagram post somewhere, and then every media site just kept repeating it. But I didn't see any good source for this claim. Ring camera footage from the residence reportedly showed Henderson pushing the door open herself, contradicting her later claim that it had been wide open when she arrived. This piece of text got posted everywhere, but
we never saw the footage.
Nobody seemed to show that footage. You couldn't see a ring cam on that door. Now, it's possible it came from another customer's door or whatever, or not another customer, another resident's door somewhere else. And it would also be crazy if she did that and she called the police, because I believe she was the one that called the police on this, right? I'm almost positive that she's the one that called the police for this. And so it's just like,
the police were called.
What?
I don't remember if the police were called. I thought they might be called the next day because it went viral on social media. But
I thought she called the police outside his place. Am I wrong on that? I feel like or maybe she didn't call us to the place, but it says right here, she went to Oswego Police Department and filed a formal report accusing the unconscious man of sexually assaulting her during the delivery. In follow-up video, she accused TikTok. Oh, maybe she did go the next day. It could have been that she reported it to the police. If she was the one who opened the door and then people were accusing her of that on TikTok, maybe she went to report it to the police because she thought it would make her story more legitimate. I don't know. Yeah, like, again, this is a thing where, like, if she did do this, then obviously she has no defense. But there was just never a good source for this. I feel like I saw it pop up on one Instagram post. It might have even been the local police department's post. But the way that the sentence was phrased, I couldn't tell 100% if it was actually, like... So, like, according to police, she did not. Instead, she recorded the man through his doorway while he lay exposed and unaware on his couch. And then the next sentence is, ring camera footage from the residence reportedly showed Henderson pushing the door open herself. So, when this says reportedly, is this reporting from the same police or not? I don't know. I didn't say this, but police said they have video of her opening the door. Link it. Or link where police say that, and not just on that Instagram post, because I feel like the language is imprecise there. But like, if it showed up in the indictment or something, then yeah, 100% she's cooked. What, Jesus? What is, hello? What if I break into your house and go into your kid's bed and pass out with my dick out? Yo, you okay? I don't know. Reinhardt in chat just typed that. Jesus.
Oh. Classic.
My new hit single, I just killed a nigga and I move drugs.
Why the fuck would you name your song I Just Killed a Nigga and I Move Drugs?
Because I really do that shit. I'm true to the streets. Can you get me off?
Not only did you do that, they got your ass on camera.
Niggas ain't got me in no fucking camera.
This is the clearest video I've ever...
I seem to remember the door was slightly open and she pushed it open more to get a better video. What? I thought it was like a screen door that was closed and the door inside was open.
We could just rewatch it.
Yeah, link the video.
Everybody's gonna be speculating.
Are we making memories up now? Hold on.
Yes.
Does somebody find me the original video? Protest K also, you got a month ban if you can't find what you just said. Because you type a lot of retarded shit in chat, and this is my time to get you. I seem to remember her flying a drone into the house.
the most HD shit ever. This is 4K. How did they get you in 4K?
That ain't me.
How did Destiny move from door was open to screen door was closed, but inner door was open? Well, because that was the point. The point was that when she went to drop the food off at the porch, the guy was like laying naked inside of his home or whatever, and so she felt like the guy was doing it intentionally to get off or whatever.
Well, how about you go tell the fucking police, not post it online, retard.
Tell the police what?
That the guy was doing that. Why is she posting it online immediately and just running to TikTok?
Oh, because it's fucking... Because it's white woman victimhood complex. She wants her likes. What do you want me to say? That might be the closest she'll ever come to sexual assault. You think she's not going to monetize it, Mooten? Video. Okay, hold on. I don't know if this is like has seeable shit in it. Can you see his dick in this? So she's showing, the video is just her dropping the food off. So the camera, and then it goes up. Is there a screen door here? Oh no, okay, never mind. There's no screen door. It's just a wide open door. Jesus.
Hey guys, so DoorDash just deactivated.
Hey guys! I don't know why I'm making fun of her voice, I'm sorry. What was the guy's statement on this? Wasn't his statement that he'd gone out to drink and then he'd gotten home and he was drunk, so he passed out on the couch or something? And he like took his pants. Like, here's the thing. Given no other information and assuming she's not lying, I think it would be a fair assumption of her to think this guy was just a creeper weirdo trying to get off. I would assume that 100%. But now, obviously, if she opened the door or whatever, the situation is changing significantly here.
We have to assume the fact that she did.
Well, let's assume she didn't.
Why would we have to assume that she did?
Because there's no way the cops would keep proceeding with this shit if there wasn't evidence showing otherwise.
I don't remember that because I feel like no matter what the facts are, her action of recording him and posting it publicly is illegal. And I think that's what the cops are pursuing charges on. I think that's what they were. I thought that was what the felony indictments were. So, yeah.
The problem is that we don't have that Ring doorbell cam, so we can't do shit until we.
That would give us.
No,
that would give us.
It will.
Because
if we see we see that video and we see a DoorDash driver from across the street come up, ring the doorbell, then look through the window, then go and open the door and take a video, then we're gonna be like, okay, yep, guilty.
No, morally, yes, but I'm saying from the police charging point of view, I don't know if it matters.
Why?
Because even if the guy left his door open and everything, you can't just record people in their home on their couch naked and post it online.
Well, yeah, obviously, but I mean, I think the act of opening the door adds some weight to it.
I don't think it matters.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't think Dan knows what he's like right now. Just let him.
Okay.
He's just
so to be clear, you think that the charges are identical if I go to your apartment and knock and do nothing versus if I open your door and then maybe take a step inside and then take a video?
Oh, now we're taking a step inside?
Well, she did. You can see that in the video.
Did she?
Yeah, she put her paw right
no,
over that door.
She's not even close to inside. Or, oh, wait. When she zooms in on the camera, Dan, do you think she's, like, zooming forward? Is that...
Yes, that's what I think.
Okay, show me where she steps inside in this video, Dan. He's booming, Mooten. He's just booming.
He's booming out.
If you want to talk about booming, how about actually showing the video that we're talking about?
I don't know if this counts as naked or not. Here, I'll post it in DGG, but I don't know if that counts as naked or not. Or I don't know. I don't care, Bean. It's too late. Somebody linked something retarded. No, I don't want to watch it. I don't care. Fuck Gavin Newsom. I don't support him anymore. I think he's the exact same as Donald Trump and Kamala Harris and Benjamin Netanyahu.
Yahoo!
Yep, she went inside that. She opened that door and went inside.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if she opened the fucking door or not. You shouldn't be posting it online.
Yeah.
Sure. You know what? How stupid this argument is? It's like, it doesn't matter if she opened the door. You shouldn't be fucking murdering people inside the apartment. Yeah, no shit.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no
that would be
shit.
true too.
But
You'd be
also
charged no
should
matter
not
what.
be opening the door.
Yeah, but I don't think
Okay?
she's being charged with a crime. She's not being charged with breaking and entering.
Well, maybe she should.
True.
Mutant 1? Dan?
Why did you do that? Why would you look? Nigga, you got the same fit on. Did you do this today? Did you do this today? Man, can you get me off of what? This nigga done did this today. You shot 3 niggas today and asking me, can I get you? Yes, I can. On God. Yes, I can get you off. It don't matter what you did. Really, I just want to show you what kind of trouble you was in. Yeah. I can get you off of anything. It don't matter. Come on, man. Hey, guess what? You might have to go to jail for like 2 weeks, but you got bail, right? I moved drugs. Come on.
Okay, stop. Stop. I'm going to get so triggered. We're not doing this whole thing again, okay? We did this.
We're looping.
We're looping on some retarded shit, okay? Because now I'm starting to remember how retarded this whole thing was. Because you're misogynistic, okay? If you're going to hate women, at least hate them for good reasons, okay? This was one of the retarded screenshots that was flying around that you retards were repeating. Here is a screenshot from the original video. The door was cracked open. That's not what this shows. It looks like it. But what's actually happening here is this is just a wide open fucking door, and then it's done vertically, and they've cropped the left part of it out. So it looks like it's a cracked open door. But I'm pretty sure it's just, or no, I'm sorry, it's not even cropped. It's her. Hold on. I don't even, he's not naked, don't worry. God damn it. Stop being naked. Hold on. You can't see it. Wait. He's not naked.
That's fucked up.
We went through this, but the door is open here. It looks like from this perspective that it's like slightly open on the left, but it's all the way open, like turned out, okay?
Yes, that you
I seem to remember throwing a cardboard box at her. True.
back rapping in 2 weeks. I promise that. Promise that. Come on, man. Just refer me to your rapper friends. They got money too, right? Come on now. I'm gonna get you off. Hey, good look. Hey, no problem. Think I'm an amateur at this or something? Come on now. Can I get him off? Stop it. What's up, y'all? RDC World 1 here, and I just want to talk to y'all about a few things, actually, because a lot of people been telling me they miss these talking parts at the end of the video. I miss the talking parts at the end of the video.
Metro Boomin.
What?
You would get.
I don't think there is ring cam footage either. I don't believe it.
There's not. We would have seen it.
Why the fuck do I have 20 Yahoo links?
Yahoo!
Shut up! I hate you.
I don't think you would have seen it, actually.
I do.
You don't think I would have seen it?
We would have seen it. Would have leaked.
No.
Yeah.
Why don't you think that, Dan?
Because he's not thinking.
I think evidence like that gets saved.
So true, dear leader.
I don't like SNL. Don't stop spamming SNL links. It's never funny. Okay, I'll watch some of this.
Well, I heard that this one is funny.
Okay, we'll see.
That's probably a...
It's a Long Island Mountain. Come on.
That's what
How
I
are
was
you
thinking.
serious?
Arnold Palmer.
Oh, yeah, Dan's right, actually. Arnold Palmer.
Zero chance. Why do you think he... Oh, fuck. I think I know. Do you know why the guy said, no, Patel, don't kill Patel?
Because he was looking into the pedophiles?
I wonder if it's because
I don't know.
it was like we don't want to degrade the U.S.'s like ability to stay safe at home for the FBI or some bullshit, because he was trying to make clear in his like little manifesto that he just wanted to get rid of like the bad pedophiles or whatever. Maybe, I don't know. That's my like. Otherwise, that is kind of weird that like he literally explicitly. I don't know. I think he was the only person he said on the cabinet he didn't want killed. I don't know why. For 10 hours. Jesus.
Who was it? No. Thank Mr. Mooten who said, wait, I think this one's good.
Yeah, but I was trolling him so he'd watch it.
Okay. I would never
Bye,
do
Governor
that.
Gavin Newsom. Governor, thanks for joining me.
Good to be back with you.
So,
Holy shit. Is he trying to look like Gustav from E33? What's going on with Brian's hair? We got a significant style change. Okay.
obviously, in light of the Supreme Court decision gutting Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act, we've now seen a swift kind of avalanche from these Republican-led states where governors are now calling special legislative sessions to redraw their maps. Just today, we've heard from the governor of Alabama. We also have heard from, obviously, the Republicans in Louisiana, considering they were one of the parties in this case, all of which are going to redraw their maps. And so what do Democrats need to do right now in light of, this wave of Republican states that are basically going to draw out every black opportunity district?
All of the, but look, Brian, it's so important almost to step back. This is all happening. I mean, the Voting Rights Act just gutted in name only now. I mean, we saw what happened to Roe. We've seen what's happening. I mean, we talked about it. I mean, you and I, how many conversations do we have and people say, well, they're being a little hyperbolic, that Trump and MAGA movement want to bring us back to a pre-1960s world. That's what's happening. And at the time, we were debating the issues around LGBTQ rights and women's rights, but now we're seeing on voting rights and civil rights, and they're succeeding. And so it's, I hope, a big wake-up call. We can't be rolled into any sort of, none of this is normal, is the long-winded point. And so, old adage, for things to change, you have to change. We have to change. So our approach has to be even more aggressive than we even could have imagined just days ago, let alone weeks ago. So look, going forward, this is going to have profound and consequential impact on the map in this country. And obviously the impact to the black community is off the charts. The reality is we don't know yet how consequential it will be for the 2026 election. But we do know with some certainty that there's upwards of 19 or so seats, conceivably, that they can take back by 2028. But what Landry did, to your point, is jaw-dropping. Talk about not normal. The guy suspended the election. He declared a state of emergency to suspend an election where they had already sent the ballots
because
out,
God forbid black people get to vote for their preferred candidate in their district.
To take one or two districts to get rid of black majority districts. Think about that. In the South in 2025, not 19 or 20. I mean, 19. I mean, this is literally two districts conceivably to eliminate black representation, suspends the election on May 16th after literally ballots were sent overseas into the military. People were starting to vote. They're starting this weekend more formally in early voting. And we're going on with the rest of our lives. None of this is normal. And again, it's a preview, we keep saying it, of everything to come. And so we have got to sort of redouble our efforts at the state levels. We have upwards of 10 seats looking at 2028. If we can win back state houses, now the whole playing field is about legislative races. And we can get up to about 2022 to compete. But right now, there's an asymmetry. They've got about a 2-to-1 advantage potentially going into 2028.
Is there any excuse for Democrats in New Jersey, in New York, in Colorado, Illinois, Maryland, Washington, Oregon, not to move forward in light of what we've seen in
Colorado, let's go. JB's saying the right thing in Illinois, and obviously Wes in Maryland, we got to go. I appreciate Hochul put out a statement. Let's go. We just got to move. The whole thing's on the line. We're redrawing lines. We got to redraw the lines until we step down and step back and do the right thing, which is independent redistricting nationwide. But we cannot have one hand tied behind our back. These guys on the other side are ruthless. You saw exactly what we knew was going to happen literally minutes after this decision in Florida. And again, they didn't go to the voters. It wasn't in a democratic and transparent way. It was done literally. He released the maps on Fox. That's how the maps, talk about, we joke about these maps being, colored in Mar-a-Lago. literally send them on Pravda. And that's how they were socialized. And then within minutes later, in a special session, they certified those 4 seats, by the way, which is unconstitutional on the basis of the state constitution in Florida. And God forbid that thing actually is upheld. But that one clearly has got some real legal questions.
That's the benefit for Ron DeSantis of having 6 out of 7 state Supreme Court justices who he himself appointed. These are the same Supreme Court justices that failed to uphold the Constitution with the existing gerrymander. Florida's current map is a gerrymander that was even too extreme for Florida's Republican legislature. Ron DeSantis shoehorned it into curry favor with Trump. Now, obviously, in light of this decision, he's trying to do it even more. But this is a state Supreme Court that clearly is not willing to lift a finger to defy Ron DeSantis.
No, and that's what they're.
Yeah, I don't know who ever gave him this idea. The digital moving camera is.
They're counting on it, so they're gaming out, and of course the courts move at such a slow speed, and these elections are around the corner. And so again, it has to just be a dominant blue wave. That's how we get out of this. We buy ourselves a little bit of time, and then those that don't have backbones develop them. Period. Full stop. Again, it's about the fight is how we take back the House of Representatives. The fight is how we repair the breach in 2028. But we have to wake up. It's not about ideology. It's not about taking one part of our party and clipping their wings because you don't like their purity test. It's about us aligning to what binds us together, and that's what's happening against this authoritarian regime.
Okay, so let's say, for example, the Democrats retake the House, retake the Senate, 2029 comes around, we have a Democratic president, we're able to pass the Freedom to Vote Act, we're able to pass a new iteration of the Voting Rights Act, that's all well and good. The fact remains that we still have this 6-3 conservative court in place. And, we can kind of play whack-a-mole and keep passing Voting Rights Act, and they keep swatting it down like they've done right now. So that raises the point that so long as this court exists as it does right now,
raises the point instead of begs the question.
Continue to do what they just did this past week. Yeah. Do you think that the court needs to be expanded so that we have some protection as opposed to having a rogue branch of government that's always there to push back progress?
No, I get the instinct on this. My only concern, there'll be probably more members of the Supreme Court in 50 years than there are members of Congress if we continue to do this. Whoever then is in the majority continues to expand on the basis of their ideology. But your point is spot on. I mean, it goes to first question, though, is filibuster.
Don't tell Josiah.
In order to get to that threshold, in order to move some of that legislation, even if you have all three branches. But the question, you're right, is the court is self-evident because this was 1965 voters' rights. That was the Congress that adopted it, and they threw it out. So the question,
the Congress that re-implemented it by 98 to nothing, I believe, in 2006, was signed into law by George W. Bush. Not exactly some crunchy liberal, but the question remains then: what do you do to actually entrench some of these?
Oh yeah, just I had to tweet about it. Just kidding.
These protections.
Well,
so that we're not
I think we get into larger sort of economic reforms as it relates to ethics, as it relates more broad, which hardly is the answer, but is one of the strategies for reform. And then obviously issues I think that are appropriate to have conversation around term limits in that respect. But my fear, sincerely, is shoes on the other foot. We'll go from the current status to then doubling it again to double.
Okay, I'm good. What have you done today, Dan?
I installed a new pool pump.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How'd that go?
I got a fiberglass needles in my arms and hands.
Why?
Because pool pumps have fiberglass.
Aren't you supposed
containers.
to maybe put gloves on?
I did have gloves on. They went through the fucking gloves.
Oh, it sounds like you weren't using the proper PPE then.
Probably not. Well, I didn't want to use rubber gloves because your hands get fucking sweaty in those.
I see.
But I bought a new pool pump and I was like, okay, before I install this new one, I know that there's a chance I can repair the current one I have. So I know what's wrong with the current one. What's wrong with the current one is that the bearings are cooked. So the thing's loud as fuck and it uses a lot more electricity than it should. So I went and I bought the bearings for it and I was like, okay, let me see if I can, I'm going to take this thing apart and I'm going to pull the bearings and then replace them. But I spent like an hour and a half pulling this whole thing fucking apart. Every part of it was corroded because it's a saltwater pool. And when I finally got to the part with the bearings, they were fucking welded onto that fucking shaft. So I was like, fuck it. So I just ripped it all out and put the new one in.
Damn.
Pool pumps have come down in price a lot. Like back in the day, 5 years ago, if you wanted a pool pump 2-3 horsepower, you're like $1,500. Now you can get a decent one, same horsepower, better shit, variable speed, $400.
Do you think this is how it's like being Dan's wife?
Who said that?
What do you think he meant by that, Dan?
I don't know.
Do you think it was anti-Semitic?
My wife fucking loves me. She's like, get yourself a man that can do fucking all 10 things at once. I do it all, okay? I make money. I'm funny. I'm entertaining. I fix shit around the fucking house. Run a business. All of that, okay? And also, my kid brought home a broken scooter, like an electric scooter, yesterday. It was on the street with a charger. And the guy was who threw it out was like, yeah, I crashed it and it doesn't work anymore.
Oof.
And he's like, can you fix it, Dad? And I fucking fixed it. And it's a $500 fucking scooter. You know what was wrong with it? So this stupid fucking scooter, okay, it has a sensor inside of the brake. There's a like a bicycle brake on the left-hand side for the rear wheel. and there's a fucking sensor in there, a Hall sensor for a magnet. And when this guy fucking crashed this thing, the magnet just came loose, and this stupid fucking scooter won't turn on unless there's a magnet touching it. So I just fucking super glue. Like, no, it doesn't have that safety anymore, but I just fucking super glued that magnet to the sensor, and now we got a fucking dope ass scooter.
Unbelievable! Wow.
I thought about making a video because there's like a.
Oh shit!
I thought about making a video because there was like no information about how to fix this error.
Mm-hmm.
But I decided against it.
Well, good job. If I go to the past or future, it shouldn't matter. I can go to the... Okay, we can go to the end. Okay.
How'd you figure it out? Well, I Googled like the name of the scooter, and it was like, it said like E25 or something like that on it. And they said that that's a brake sensor fault, but no one says how to fix it. So I said, fuck it. I'll do it myself. I'll figure it out. I was getting ready. I was just going to short circuit the sensor.
Yeah, obviously, yeah.
It was easier just to fucking glue a magnet onto it.
What if your kid dies now because that thing doesn't work?
Well, he'll look fucking cool.
Okay, based.
Like, nobody wants to die on a scooter that
looks lame.
Only goes like 5 miles an hour. No, this thing can go like fucking 25 miles an hour.
Sheesh.
I mean, imagine you die
Mm-hmm.
on like a little bitch-made fucking Razor scooter that goes like 5 miles an hour. I would be so embarrassed.
Yeah, I agree. Fair point. True facts. Absolutely. Have you ever built Legos before?
No, but I don't have autism, so I try not to judge.
Wow.
I mean, I did when I was a child.
Yeah, I thought you went to like the special fucking autism training camp or whatever. Or was that ADHD? Never mind. Fuck.
No, it wasn't either of those. I went to it's basically like a military boarding school, but a therapeutic boarding school.
Didn't you say they like? I thought you said they tried some like experimental fucking the states first.
No, that was in public school before that. That's
Yeah,
when
for
I was,
what?
Like, really young. Well, that was regular ass public school.
Wait,
you tried experimental shit on me? No, they threw me in a fucking closet at lunchtime.
Yeah, that's experimental shit because you were fucking autistic or whatever. No,
I wasn't autistic. I had.
Wait, you think they
like,
just put you in
very
experiment?
aggressive
Hold on.
ADHD.
Yeah, you were autistic.
That's not autism.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
So they threw you in a closet because you had ADHD.
Yeah. I remember.
That doesn't make any sense to me, Dan.
Yeah, it really
I
doesn't,
remember
Dan.
most of the story. It's well, first off, I was very smart, so I'd finish like all my tests and shit way before all the other kids in the class, and then I'd distract the fuck out of everyone, so my teachers fucking hated me.
Mm-hmm.
But then they would punish me. So at lunchtime, when everyone else gets to hang out and like do stuff, they're like, "No, you can eat your lunch in here." And they put me in the fucking janitor's closet. And apparently, I don't remember any of this. It's just what I've been told. But apparently, it happened multiple times. And one time, for whatever reason, my mom had come to pick me up early for some doctor's appointment or something. And she's like, where is Dan? And they're like, oh, let's go find him. And they're like, oh, here he is. And then apparently my mom, like, they opened the door and I was just in a fucking janitor's closet eating by myself. And my mom fucking lost her marbles. But I think as you should at that point.
She's like, I can only put him in a closet.
No, it was fucking crazy from what I'm told. But anyways, apparently it led to like some sort of, I don't want to say landmark or anything because it was
landmark
in the state, but some
Oh,
sort
you
of
guys
legislation.
sued?
Well, yeah, we did. and it was over like schools need to understand what ADHD was. You can't just fucking throw kids in the closet. And as part of that, I was allowed to have my college paid for by the state. And then I also was in the military, which is another place that would pay for your college. So I could have my college double paid for if I ever went.
Everyone was paying your college.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I didn't. I got my GED. That's the important one.
You're like an autism activist.
I'm not autistic.
Or an autism advocate.
It's ADHD advocate. I am. But I grew out of it. Mostly. I didn't say I grew out of it.
So the closet worked.
I learned to work with it.
What do you think is there a poly market on Giuliani survival? Or is that a thing you're not supposed to poly market on? Do you see he's in the hospital?
What was it?
I'm glad he's
Polymarket
in
or
the hospital.
Calci?
You know why?
Whoa,
That's the best
because
place he can get care for.
Exactly, true.
Calci or Polymarket refused to pay out on a bet about some fucking dude dying or the next supreme leader. Like, will this person still be the supreme leader on this date? And the guy was dead. And they're like, yeah, we don't really resolve shit when it's about a death because that can incite bad shit. And it's like, well, the dude's dead. So I don't think he's a supreme leader anymore. And they didn't fucking pay out.
Well, I think the issue has to do with like people would be incentivized to go and kill people.
Well, then don't make those fucking things in the first place. Or allow
That's
them.
why
That's
it
not my
sounds
problem.
like that's what they did. It sounds like they were saying they have a policy, or they either changed the policy, or that was a thing that was never supposed to. Oh,
Really?
No,
Nobody-
wait. Or you're saying that like it was a bet on whether or not a guy would be supreme leader, and he just happened to die. It's not like he was in the hospital and people were betting on his
No,
death.
I'm pretty sure it was on Khamenei, Steve, and he got fucking assassinated.
So it was in the middle of all the craziness going on.
Oh, so that's kind of, I understand. I still get it, but that's kind of bullshit because that might be factored into your bet, right? Like if I were to bet, is
Absolutely is
Dan going to
factored
be
into
like
the
the
bet.
CEO of like Saltman Enterprises in 2 years and I think he's going bankrupt, and then some guy like drive-by kills you, and then it's like, oh, you can't resolve that because he died.
Well, it was also like
It's like,
you
I
know,
expected him
we
to get
were
murdered.
we were full on molesting Iran, I believe, and it's like why would this guy not be the supreme leader unless he got fucking murked or bombed? Like, are we thinking that they were gonna like, oh, you know what, we don't like this guy anymore. Let's do a free and fair election and see if there's gonna be another supreme
Well, it
leader.
could be he goes into
Fuck
exile
no.
or flees like Assad or whatever, right?
Yeah, but maybe.
Maybe. That's so impossible for you to believe.
Yeah.
This is the last fucking bag of Legos I'm doing for the day. Fuck me.
Why
I feel
would you
like
get
I'm a
the
little-
biggest fucking $500 Lego set? What the fuck?
Well, it looks sick.
What is it even
It's
of?
the Star Wars, duh.
Oh my god.
It's the
oh my god.
Republic Venator attack cruiser. This is gonna be sick in my background, man.
Serious?
Yeah. It's a prequel ship too. I know how that makes you feel.
Jesus Christ. How many pieces is this? 5,740.
5,743. Or is it 374? Something like that.
Wait, do you have dyslexia? Wait,
Well,
does
I'm
it
not looking
come
at the
with
fucking
the
number.
shadows? Oh my god.
Steve's about to get into Legos.
No, I played tons of Legos. Do you think this is AI or do you think it's a real person, guys? Is that Mr. Mooten? This is the fakest fake aperture. No shot. Look at that digital blur. I don't believe it. How much of it have you built?
Like 16 bags of it?
Out of how many?
I don't know. I see 22 on the ground, but there's a whole nother box. I think I'm like a fifth of the way through, maybe. And I've been building all day today.
Yikes.
And I built a lot yesterday.
Yikes.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy, bro. Why aren't you building on
Can't I
stream?
tell? Because this is fucking boring.
The people want to see it, Mooten. And now you've deprived them.
People.
True, they are. They are retarded, I agree.
They are.
Bro, these enemies that fucking disappear, please stop.
You said you're gonna talk about Shirvan today?
Am I? Oh no, I just said
Oh,
that
no,
Chad sucks at knowing what good content is, and they just get ass painted at people for no reason. They need to chill.
It sounded like you had a policy, or like not a policy, but like a spiel to go on about it. But no.
Telling people they're retarded. Hit him. Thank you. One more time. Good enough.
Didn't they say we're gonna do more call-ins today? If Steve wants to, drag him up.
Fuck it, do a couple. This is this has to be the last map. After I beat this, it's done. This is the final boss, right? Go.
Oh God. All right, call-ins, come on in.
You need to be.
Yeah.
You know, I would of course be more aggressive if I had the proper ability to do so, but you need to fucking rule the Iron Fist moot.
Jesus.
On what, call-ins?
Yes.
No,
Yesterday.
I understand who is good content and who isn't.
Yesterday was not a.
I
good
skipped
showing.
through all of the bad content, and then Shirveen came in, and he was king shit.
Wow.
All right, let's bring him up. Captain Dan. Captain Dan, go ahead.
Wait, what?
What? What the fuck
Collins.
were you in the room for?
Sorry, I didn't know you were gonna drag me up that fast.
Oh my god.
I'm not a big fan of Eurocooks,
Me either, yeah.
but I'm not super fond of the Eurocooks jumping in on the domestic policy of the U.S. as far as like gun shit goes, because they don't get it. Like, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Totally.
True.
Gun shit's a loser issue, but I don't know. I wish we could live in a world where we had a little less guns, but yeah.
Oh my god. This
It's not going to happen in America,
this
so
guy.
Dems need to move on.
True. I don't have much else to say past that.
Right.
Good one, dude.
Good one, Captain Dan.
Yeah,
See you tomorrow.
That's it.
Good one.
Sorry.
Good one. This fucking guy.
Cosmonaut Nazi. Go ahead. 5, 4,
Uh-oh.
3.
Will I bounce back?
Wait.
Oh shit.
Okay.
Good luck.
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead.
What? Oh wait, I'm hearing the stream in my background. Sorry about that. I'm started. What's it called? I think I have two things I want to talk about, but I'm just gonna choose one. Destiny, are you down to talk about space science a little bit?
Space science?
Yeah, like it's more about extraterrestrial life and like the chances of life outside of Earth.
Yeah, for sure, bro. Hit me up. What do you got?
Okay, so have you ever heard of rare Earth hypothesis?
No. Tell us about it.
Essentially, it revolves around the idea of like extraterrestrial life being rare outside of Earth. But not only that, the idea of like Earth itself as a planet being rarer, probably rarer than life itself.
Wow.
And this like involves a lot of different aspects, but like I just wanted your take on it because I think I've heard you talk about aliens and your thoughts of life outside of Earth and how it's probably not likely. So I think you would subscribe to this theory.
How the fuck would I possibly be qualified to even give a guesstimate on that?
Well, like, what do you mean? Like I could
no
like
idea
explain
why
further, but like,
okay, explain further, I guess. But like, I'm gonna agree with everything you say because I don't have a background in anything you're saying, and I imagine you're not retarded, so you're gonna give a good argument for why there is like that Earth is rarer than whatever occurred naturally or normally or whatever. So, but I don't know the actual answer to it. So, what do you go? Yeah, hit me up.
Okay. So, I mean, for instance, like the most common star out in the universe would be a red dwarf, and red dwarfs are typically smaller than average stars. I think our star, the density or the mass of it is like 1,800 Jupiters, and then Jupiter is like 1,600 Earths, so it's pretty fucking big. But like red dwarfs can be the size of one Jupiter, so they're really small stars. And red dwarfs emit a lot of radiation, but not very consistently. They're very inconsistent with the amount of radiation that they output. So with this being the most common type of star, also being really small and also being really aggressive at times, it's pretty likely that there isn't life revolving around these stars. On top of that, any planet around these stars typically are tidally locked, and tidally locked is when a planet is one side completely in daylight and one side completely in night.
Why do they have to be tidally locked?
Basically, the tidal forces of the gravity on the stars. So the red dwarf star is so small, the planet has to be so close for it to be within the habitable zone, right? And not only that, but be like really affected by the gravity. So the tidal forces of the gravity of the planet and the star attracting on each other stop the rotation of the planet pretty much. Our moon is pretty much tidally locked. There's one side of the moon that we don't see like at all ever.
We just saw it, moron.
Isn't it the only tidally locked moon in the entire solar system, though?
No, I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure it isn't. A lot of planets, like, I mean, Jupiter has like 67 moons or something like that. And I think we're finding more and more. So,
wait, so why is it that a thing being, I don't understand why a thing being smaller or bigger or whatever would make it tidally locked?
It's the tidal forces. So, you know how the moon has tidal, it affects our gravity pretty much. So, like, it affects the things on the surface of our planet.
Yeah, but how would the gravity on our thing keep us from spinning?
It's the tidal forces of both the objects interacting with each other. It forces basically the stronger object is going to force the smaller object to stop spinning.
Why?
Stop all momentum, pretty much. That's just how tidal forces work. I don't know exactly, but it's the same idea with like how waves get made on Earth.
All right, keep it moving, Buster.
Okay.
I mean, there's red dwarf stars are the most common type of star, and they're like very lethal to the likelihood of life. Not only that, like, do you understand the idea of like a magnetosphere?
Is that the part of our atmosphere that's magnetic?
So a magnetosphere, kind of, it protects the atmosphere more so, but
okay,
it's produced but from the inner Earth core.
The
idea
core
of
having stuff going on in it, right?
That's where Hitler's at, right?
So,
and then the stuff it repels like solar radiation or whatever, right?
Yes, but the way that it is produced is the iron in our core is a magnetic metal. It interacts with magnets, and it spins and gyros in our core. And this gyroing will produce that magnetic field. And this field will protect from solar winds, which are a form of radiation. And that's the type of radiation that red dwarfs give off. The thing is that red dwarfs aren't as consistent as our type of star. They can have periods where they give off no radiation and periods where they give off insane amounts of radiation. So the issue with red dwarfs is that we could have a planet that does have a magnetosphere around a red dwarf protecting it from the solar winds, but the solar winds can get so aggressive that the magnetosphere gets stripped away, and then thus, because of that, the atmosphere gets stripped away. And this is something that we've observed with Mars. Mars was a planet that used to be habitable, like Earth. Kind of, maybe we assume that it has Earth-like or had Earth-like environments, but it got stripped away due to a younger star being stronger. Yep, wow. I'm on break. I'm on break. I'm on break.
Oh, he's getting in trouble at work right now. Oh shit.
You gotta be honest.
I'm getting him out of here.
No, wait, no.
I shoot here. Okay. I shoot here.
No, wait. Why, we gotta find out what happened now at his job.
I'm gonna yell at. I'm sorry.
Wait, where do you work at? What are you doing?
Oh, I think. Oh, he's still here. Hold on.
Yeah, he said I'm on break.
I'm gonna yell at my boss.
Why?
My boss.
But you're on break.
Because I took my break 5 minutes early.
Whoa.
Okay, but look.
Wait, where do you work? What do you do for work?
Okay, stop. Why are we talking about this? I want to talk about my topic.
Well, now I want to talk about your boss.
Your job.
You almost got busted.
What do you do?
How does he know you're on break? Is he in the break room, or are you in the back office or back, or what?
Yes, he walked in the break room. That's what happened.
Blue collar or white collar?
Wait, why did he come like chasing you?
No, he just walked into there and was like telling me about my schedule and stuff because we just got a new boss and he just handed out new schedules and he was all like, "Oh, you went back here because you saw that you thought that I left," and I was like, "Bro, I know." Like he's all right. Yeah, I don't want to talk about my job. Fuck my job.
We want to talk about your job.
Okay.
Yeah, we did.
Okay, then talk about my job.
Hurry up.
Is it white collar or blue collar?
I work at a senior living home in the kitchen, so I don't know what that counts as.
You're a chef?
Blue collar, technically? No, I'm a dishwasher. So.
Oh damn.
Yep.
What kind of white? Hold on. I'm sorry, just a quick meme check. Dan, what kind of white collar work do you go to the break room for?
What? Anything with a fucking office? In the office?
Well, yeah, no, this is true. The office buildings have break rooms, I think, right?
Steven is just a fucking retard.
No, I'm not. No,
I don't know what to say.
I was asking a question.
Do not call your
choose
leader
a
retard.
job. Choose a job that you can imagine where you work on a computer.
Yeah.
Okay.
And in those jobs, your boss is going to come hunting you down. Like, why are you in the break room?
Maybe.
Okay.
Depends on what's happening.
All right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, just checking.
Dan
Okay.
does that to his employees
True.
with his mouse jiggler.
What? Whoa.
All right, what else you got? Come on.
Okay.
I mean,
Are you good at washing dishes?
I hope I am.
Do you have a
Jesus.
strategy? So, like, what do you do if something is kind of really baked on there? Do you try to deal with it before it goes through the machine, or do you just say?
Oh
Fuck
no, it depends. If I get it, so if it's like if I just got the dish and it's really baked on there, I'll put it immediately in water. But if I got the dish and it seems that the food will come off pretty easily, I'll rinse it and just put it in the machine.
Mm-hmm. You got one of those like nice like Hobart machines, like the whole thing, like the conveyor belt and everything.
No, we used to have in Hobart, but we it's one of those smaller machines, like those little trays that they go on, like the little plastic trays.
Yep.
It only fits one of those. It's not like one of those
just
conveyor belt
one?
things.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah, just one.
That's crazy.
Yep.
How long does it take to go through that?
I'm here for like 8 hours a day, so.
No, I mean,
8
like, how
hours.
long does one tray, does one tray take?
A minute? I don't know.
Oh, interesting.
Like a minute and a half, I think. Yeah. Something like that. Yeah, very interesting. Yeah. But I mean, sure, I don't know. I just want to talk about rare earth and get Destiny's opinion on it and see if he agrees or not. And, I mean, I
with
like.
rare earth,
Yeah, I think we're
Yes, we
super
are.
rare. Yes. I believe it now.
Awesome.
I'm a believer that
Very
we're rare.
amazing.
Rare AF.
We're very rare, very awesome, very special. All right, that's it. I mean, that's all I want. Yep.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate
Thank you
it.
for the call.
You guys, man. Yep.
I just did the wrong attack.
What are people in chat losing their mind about? I'm only interested because I also washed dishes before in the past. God damn. Y'all have fucking secondary. You know what it is? It's just too many of you guys have no social skills. Like NNN. No social skills. You have none. None. Okay? I'm sorry to tell you. You may have autism. Okay?
Dan's
That's
laying the
first one.
big shishers out there right now. Jeez.
Incomparable. You also, another one, possibly without social skills. You need to understand that.
You know, Dan, this is why I get two love threads in a day, and you get none.
True. This is true.
Wait, who's that?
Well,
Who
you
joined?
need them.
Oh, who's that?
Someone
pulled
dragged
him
me in.
up.
I was
Uh-oh.
a little shocked. Dude, Misha, I feel like you hate me. We need to work passes together, like as
I
like
don't hate you.
like a
Why,
friendship.
if I hated you, I wouldn't pull you up.
Okay.
You know
Okay,
what?
I mean, like I see some very antagonistic like energy coming towards
Why the
me.
fuck is this motherfucker in here? He was just in here yesterday. You selfish fuck.
Okay, I'll leave. I'm so there's like 3 people in the fucking waiting room, you dumbass. There's no one.
And you wait until there's no one there. When there's no one there, then you can show the fuck
Bro,
up.
Dad,
Every
you're actually
goddamn time.
you're booming. Holy
Go ahead.
shit.
What do we want to talk
no,
about?
Fuck you. I'm
Let me
leaving.
guess.
No, I'm leaving.
Let me guess.
I'm leaving.
The Jews.
Fuck you.
Sheesh.
This is how you do it, Moot. Take
Q.
fucking notes.
Welcome up. 5, 4.
Hey, he's muted.
3.
That little. Oh, no, he's not.
Hold on one second. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Ah, shit.
Why,
I can't hear
would
you.
the shit that we can hear you? Wouldn't that be good?
Okay. Yeah, I'm here.
Because you couldn't hear.
Destiny, I wanted to ask, what's your like a white pill, black pill ratio on our democracy?
I'm all white pill, baby.
All white pill.
Yeah.
What? Okay. Well, I want. Well, okay. What is it? Is it real?
Yeah, we're gonna make it, Chief. Did he leave or did you kick him out?
I didn't kick him. He must have left.
Awesome. We white pilled him. Good job, guys. Yeah, hell yeah.
Sue 7 Tech. Go ahead.
There's no T there. So you misspoke. Admit it. You gonna just say nothing?
I see
You
a
gonna
T
just
there.
act like you didn't misspeak?
I see a T.
Where's the T?
I see it.
Where's the fucking T, Mr. Martin?
NFT at the
Oh,
bottom.
shit.
Got him. What?
Just quick request. If you have perms to a channel, you shouldn't get to be able to do the viewer call-ins. This goes to Hussein.
Ooh.
That's all.
You know what? Not a bad rule. Not a bad rule.
Oh, damn.
All right, thank you. Is anything else? Or
Attack.
you're good?
Nope, that was
my
it.
God.
I mean, they can
Fire.
come in whenever they fucking want to. These guys gotta fucking pray for the right time.
Tier 5 coming through. Wrecking Ball. Go ahead.
Hey, I'm gonna trigger the crop of Destiny because I'm on my phone. So get ready for this.
Let's go.
I got questions first. One more of a statement actually, but Mr. Moon has a baller Lego set. Good choice. More fun question is, Destiny, do you even consider yourself a nerd anymore? Like, did you ever consider yourself a nerd? Like, I mean, Mr. Moon's pretty nerdy. Like Legos, D&D, all that good stuff.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I have like nerdy hobbies. Sure, I guess, yeah.
What would you say is the nerdiest hobby you have?
Literally everything. I played fucking text-based computer games growing up.
Yeah, that's like mainstream these days. All right, but serious question here. Did you guys see the FISA stuff that just went through?
No.
Nope. Tell us about it.
All right, so I'm going to set off here. I'm really biased based on previous work experience,
This guy,
so like
oh my
I
God.
tend to take a much more positive view of FISA based off of previous experiences. But there's a lot of like doomer going.
Wait, what's your
as
job?
far as so right now I lead Red Team. Previously, I worked at the NSA.
Med team?
Red Team. It's
Red
we do
team. Got it. Okay, thank you. I'm
penetration
sorry. Your mic
tests,
keeps cutting out at the beginning of every other word. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
He's a tier 5 caller, Steven.
Good. Oh, my bad. I'm sorry. Okay.
No, it's on my phone. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're good.
I previously worked at the
Wrecking
NSA.
Ball. Wait, I know. Yes, you messaged me shit. You're a relevant chatter. You can tell me good shit. Okay, sorry. Go ahead. My bad. Your phone is triggering the fuck out of me, though. Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I'm dealing with kids at the same time. Well, they're showering. But anyway. Exactly. FISA Court's right is the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act. The basic premise being that the U.S. government can do warrantless searches of data flowing from foreign entities, and it often scoops up U.S. person data, right? This all came out with the wonderful Snowden leaks that'll just grind my teeth to dust on all that. But there's a lot of people who take an overly pessimistic view on it because it looks very big brothery. Can't obviously go into too much detail, but I can tell you that like stuff is more controlled than you'd ever believe. It's definitely not what you see in the movies. Point where like people got fired looking themselves up. Recently, there was a Senate bill, but there was a resolution recently passed, I think like 2 days ago, that took Section 702.
Your mic is cutting out and they're not telling you.
Well, we're getting.
Oh, I mean, I can understand what he's fucking saying, retard.
Oh.
His mic's not gonna get any fucking better, I'll tell you that. So, I mean, now you've derailed it. Keep going.
No, it's fine. I'll bounce for now. Come back later.
You come back later.
Deal with that,
But what
but
was your-
it's we can have a good talk on it.
Okay, I'm guessing the overall point was that like people probably freak the fuck out over it and don't do the probably necessary balancing act of like, how do we want to be able to query foreign data where they don't necessarily have the same protections as us, and like is it overly broad, or you know it's not necessarily all bad, but like what should limitate, blah blah. And you think the view on it is too one-dimensional, whatever, right?
You left.
God damn. You
No, I'm still here.
No,
yeah,
he's still-
yeah,
what
for
do you
the
mean?
most part, that basically sums it up. I would say there's a lot of crap the government does that is absurd and overreaching. I would say, having been on the inside of that, that's not one of them. So you see posts and articles about like a bunch of Democrats signing on to approve this, and everyone's saying like marry all of them. And I would just urge people to do a little more digging on that. And I promise you, it's not as bad as you think it might be if you just believe what read in the headlines on that piece, like everything else in the world, of course.
Okay. Thanks.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
That was
I could
That was a
understand
lot.
him
There was a
perfectly.
lot going. Yeah, but I'm just saying there was a lot going on for that.
Scared you?
Okay. I'm gonna apologize, but I just need to get something off my chest. Dan was right in the inverse sense that chat is fucking retarded because he's also a fucking retard. Like I legit only join. I join once a week during call-ins. I don't join during stream because people used to get mad at me for this shit. And then now Dan is being a retard and chat. Oh fuck! I just dropped my whole mic. Okay, chat. I'm sorry, Dan. Fuck you. Bye bye.
Sheesh. Wow, Dan. So
Pathetic.
I'm just saying, Dan. He kind of, you know.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, that's a
Hi.
voice I can get behind.
Yo, what up?
Hi.
Let's hear it. What do you got?
I just kind of wanted to kind of incept these points into Destiny's head about immigration because I feel like that's his weakest topic whenever he's debating.
You think Dear Leader is weak?
Yes, very. On immigration, like there's so many better ways to like fight against things that, and I think this is something that you should really like research into and like go through like the Cato Institute studies, Manhattan Institute, and everything, because there's so many things that you can say. Like, for example, let me give you an example. Like whenever someone says like, oh, you know, immigrants take jobs, you can go into the supply and demand and everything, but the easiest rebuttal to that is just simply, yeah, but immigrants create more jobs. Like, you know, 40% of Fortune 500s are created by immigrants and 20% of all small businesses are created by immigrants. And like, you know, there's so much more.
Wow.
Like when the framing, whenever someone's like, oh, you know, this group of immigrants versus that group of immigrants, and then the thing that is just have to change the framing. So the framing doesn't have to be the ideal immigration system versus the current system. It has to be the Republican immigration system, which is no immigrants at all. I don't know. I kind of want you to like debate me on the other side.
What do you mean debate you on the other side? Like, will you bring up those points?
Yeah, kind of like I want you to.
Okay, so the response to the first one is, I
anti-immigration.
don't mind having immigrants come into this country that are the wealthy people that found businesses. I'm talking about poor immigrants that steal jobs from hardworking Americans.
Yeah, and what to call it, and then you can argue against, instead of arguing against the ideal system, I can just argue like, oh, but that's not what the Republicans are doing. They are threatening student visas, like the one that the NVIDIA founder produced. That's the Republican immigrant system, and not only that, they're decreasing immigration across the board, not just for like, you know, the poor immigrants, for everyone, you know. And especially for Indian immigrants and H-1B visas, Indian immigrants create a lot of those small businesses.
Do you think
So I'm
H-1B
not
workers are coming over here to create small businesses? I feel like H-1B workers are just coming over here to take jobs from hardworking Americans. Didn't the tech industry just have some of the biggest layoffs over the past like 4 or 5 years? And now you want to import even more of these people? When was the last time you called into a customer service or filed a support ticket and the guy that picked up the phone sounded like an Indian? You wanted to hear this guy as your coworker helping you through your work job stuff?
Yeah, but the very easy is that the Indian immigrants are some of the most like well achieving, and yes, they do create a lot of businesses, and the average Indian immigrant reduces the national debt by 1.7 million. One Indian average 1.7 million over their lifetime of their life.
Well, that's assuming they stay here their entire lifetime and they don't just bail and go back to their country. And also, I don't care about reducing the debt that much. I think it'd be better to reduce the debt by hiring Americans that are looking for jobs and blah, 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 blah.
But you're not doing that. You already had the white Americans are already here, and like I said, the immigrants are creating the jobs. So that if you don't have those jobs,
Yeah, but not all the immigrants are
immigrants
creating the jobs. More of them are taking jobs than are creating businesses.
No, I know. No.
Really? The average
20%.
Indian that comes over here is creating a business?
Yes, 20% of all small businesses are created by immigrants.
That doesn't mean
while
20% of immigrants
only
are creating small businesses, though.
No, but immigrants only make up 14%. So you're trying to argue for a system that we don't have. We don't have a system where we only let those creating business immigrants come in. You're arguing for an immigration system where we have no one come in. We have a moratorium on immigration, and you're even threatening the very parts of the system that create the most jobs, like Trump going after the Chinese visa school student visas.
Sure. Listen, I don't necessarily obviously I don't disagree with anything you're saying because I'm pro-immigration, but none of these are silver bullets. Like there are easy counters that conservatives bring up to all of these, and then you have to fight on everything related to immigration is all like field stuff.
But it's so much easier to like do a rebuttal on like, oh yeah, but immigrants create a shit ton of jobs, and they
Nobody believes that though. That's like an unbelievable thing. Nobody believes that. How can they create more jobs when they come over here and they take a job?
Because they create the
how do they create a job? How does an H-1B worker create a job when he comes over here and he takes a job for an American worker?
I guess they get their green card, they marry like a U.S. citizen, or they.
Well, so now they're taking our white women and they're taking our jobs. I'm still not seeing how this is creating jobs for Americans.
Because they just create them. Like that's just a stat that I can point to.
No bullshit. What, a liberal stat?
Well, yeah, and what was better, like trying to like educate like a Republican person about like fucking supply and demand, and it's like, oh, actually they create the demand, and this demand creates the jobs. Like no, they just create the jobs.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying that like if it was that easy, I mean, then I would go do the debates and own everybody. If you think it's that easy to say, well, look at the stats. That's not. Oh, yeah. I mean, that's not how they're gonna.
And you have to like be able to point to the stats, like the one at 1.7 million over every Indian immigrant. That's the Manhattan Institute stat. And that guy's like a MAGA dick suck. That guy's super MAGA. But
which guy?
Manhattan Institute, Danielle.
Oh, they don't care. They throw all these institutes and everything. They throw these all the fuck out as soon as they.
Well, yeah, they do that for the Cato, but.
Well, anytime anything publishes something they don't agree with, they just say fuck it.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, at least you have that to point to, and you're doing like a very like positive claim. It's not just like, oh, yeah, they take jobs, and no, they create jobs, and that's your position. And then if they push you, then you can like cite the statistics like the Cato Institute or Manhattan Institute.
I understand what you're saying, but the problem is you're giving a claim that literally doesn't make sense to the mind of this person or the mind of their listener. Mm-hmm. There's zero conservatives and zero conservative listeners that are going to hear me say immigrants create jobs and think that that's like a true talking point. They're going to immediately dismiss it as being retarded because they don't understand the connections that make that statement true. So I don't think.
I feel like it's so much stronger than trying to like make them learn economics and supply and demand.
Well, sure, I would just never argue on this point. I would just pick something different. But none of these things would be like, this is not like a silver bullet where it's like, oh, I told them they make more jobs, and then I said, look at the stats. Like that's like the magical argument against all conservatives. That look at the stats defeats every single conservative argument ever, technically. But obviously that's not the.
These retards don't believe in stats.
Yeah, I get that, and like because I feel like I've done a lot of like TikTok debates and shit like that, and like how I get people on immigration, how I quote unquote win them is by making my point like economically you're gonna like suffer a lot if you restrict immigration, and then like they're like, oh, but culturally, and then whenever they bring up cultural, like, oh, immigrants commit less crime than native American, born Americans, even less than white people. So, and then grill them. I'm like trying to get that concession of like, oh yeah, our economy is going to go to shit if we stop all immigration. And just kind of like, a lot of them are not going to like go past that. I'd be like, oh yeah, our economy is going to suck ass if we stop immigration.
Okay.
I don't know. I guess that's.
Okay, but my
point. You should really Cato Institute. They have so many good graphs and stuff that you can like point to. And I know they don't like them, but it's something that you can point to, and people can like on their own time kind of like read.
Okay.
They're not gonna do that, but okay.
Wow. Fuck you, Mooten.
Damn.
True.
All right.
All right. Ciao.
Ciao.